36 degrees. The sun is out. Wind not much of a factor right now, although it is blowing more on the field than the flags on top of the goalpost show. And we've got a big game on hand today. Chuck Pagano in his third season has done a great job, and his Colts again on the verge of winning the AFC South. And Mike Pettin in his first year trying to turn around a franchise that hadn't seen too much winning since they came back here in 1999. Well, the Browns are right in the thick of it, but this is a game they've got to have.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, this AFC playoff picture, 6 teams at 7-5. These two coaches very similar in their approaches. Both coached at Baltimore together, and they play similar styles, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
And there you see the Browns. They have lacked any kind of return game at all. It's been a big issue for them this year. And ironically, it's the Colts who just signed their former return man, Josh Cribbs. We'll see him later. Pat McAfee is the Colts punter and their kickoff guy, and he does a great job at it. Kicks most of them into the end zone for a touchback. It's Travis Benjamin back deep to receive for the Browns. And here we go from Cleveland on a cool, crisp day for some December football. It's Benjamin. Finds a little seam. Travis Benjamin with a great return, and the Browns are off and running. Just like magic, put up the graphic about how bad they've been, and they get a great return.
All you got to do is get Josh Cribbs in the house, and the Browns
and
return game too, gets going.
Thought I saw a late
return, holding return team number 26. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, Cleveland.
Well, that certainly hurts. That's on the rookie Pierre Desir, the cornerback, and there goes that return.
There he is right there, Desir. You see he has a handful of jersey. The officials on it. Big penalty for the Browns. Puts them backed up.
And so instead of starting up around their 40, they will start on their own 15-yard line. And they get Gordon involved early. And spins off a couple tackles. Still going. And a 9-yard gain on first down to Josh Gordon. His third game back coming off that suspension. Meanwhile, Brian Hoyer gets the call. And this is really why. 10-5 in his 2 years as a Browns starter. Started out last year, got hurt. And then this year, they're 7-5 with him in there. But just one touchdown his last 49 drives. They have slumped. Good to see him back, though. Jordan Cameron, who is a Pro Bowl tight end, has missed 5 weeks with a concussion, but he is playing today. And Terrence West is the running back and gets the call on 2nd and 1. And should be close to a first down. Not sure that he got it.
And Kevin, when you take a look at Brian Hoyer, off the bat, it was really good. The last 3 games, not so much. You see the interceptions, 1-6 touchdown to interception ratio. To me, he's a guy, you got to have everything working well around him. Remember, he lost Jordan Cameron, his Pro Bowl tight end. Josh Gordon just coming back, but they have to run the football well. This Cleveland offense works off the run game. They have to run it well for Brian Hoyer to be successful.
Give to West, first down, and the Browns pick it up on 3rd and short.
That's the back, Kevin, that I really feel, and I think the Browns staff feels, is the most talented in Terrence West. He's had a problem putting the ball on the ground here the last couple weeks. Isaiah Crowell out most of the week with a hip injury. We'll see if he is active. We'll see if he plays.
Fake it to West. Hoyer is going to be taken down. Now let's go of it. And I think they're going to rule it an incomplete pass. It was Eric Walden coming in to get the pressure. And they will call it a sack. Excuse me.
Well, Eric Walden's going to do a nice job. He's going to be working against Jordan Cameron coming across the formation. That's a mismatch in terms of Eric Walden as a pass rusher on Jordan Cameron as a pass blocker. Walden takes advantage of that mismatch.
One thing about the Colts, you know, they lose Robert Mathis to at first he was suspended, and then while suspended he tore his Achilles. He had 19.5 sacks last year, John, and yet the Colts are 5th in the league in sacks. They've done a good job making up for his loss. Pitch it to West. Follows through the left side. He's going to get out to the 35-yard line for Corey Redding. Made the stop, so it's a 6-yard run. It'll bring up a 3rd down and long. There's Mathis.
And that's a big guy to make up for. I mean, you're talking about the NFL sack leader, but yet Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator in this group, have done it by committee. That's an incredible job of coming and weathering the storm. But they have a big piece missing today in Vontae Davis, their star cornerback. The style of play, Kevin, that they play, a lot of man-to-man, tough when your top corner's out.
3rd down and 7. Time for Hoyer. Still looking over the middle. There's just no one there. Looked like he was in the direction of Gordon, but they've had some miscommunication issues in the 2 games that he's been back, and I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, they have, and they worked extra hard on it this week. But again here, you see Hoyer, great coverage by the Colts. Gordon, he thinks he's coming across. Gordon does not. He stops. They've been out of sync, and they continue to be on the first series today.
And now Josh Cribbs, longtime Brown, who was a 2-time Pro Bowler here in 8 years, just signed a couple weeks ago by the Colts, and he's been a spark to their return game. Wobbly kick and short. Cribbs going to let it bounce, and it goes in the Browns' direction, where the Colts will start on their own 23-yard line. When we come back, and we'll get to see Andrew Luck, who's been on fire. Colts take the field. We're scoreless early. Indeed, it is the dog pound. That's in the east end zone, the direction the Colts are heading, as Andrew Luck takes the field for the first time. And the former Brown, Trent Richardson, lines up behind him as he's back in Cleveland for the first time since that big trade. And they'll give it to Richardson, who is going to work his way to the 26. But the attention's on Andrew Luck, the AFC Player of the Month for November.
And Kevin, I mean, this guy, I've been watching him since his Stanford days. He's meant to be a quarterback. He's got everything you want above the neck, and then the skills, the arm talent to be a tremendous quarterback, and that's exactly what he has become.
Plenty of time on the play clock as the Colts got to the line so fast. So still 10 seconds on the play clock. And Richardson again, where he's going to get a short gain. And the fans like that. It was Chris Kirksey, the rookie from Iowa, on the tackle. Colts offense is the best in the NFL, and they are legit. And if you like to throw the ball down the field, John, you're going to like watching them play.
You know, it's old school because, as you said, Terry Bradshaw's going to love this because this isn't the dink and dunk West Coast. No. This is down the field. They like taking the ball down the field, and they have tremendous weapons led by T.Y. Hilton, the outstanding receiver.
Kobe Fleener, the tight end who lines up to the top of your screen, has been on fire lately on a 3rd and 5. Luck. Pocket collapsing, throws over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Dwayne Allen, but Buster's screen had good coverage and a 3-and-out for Indianapolis.
And it's a great job by this secondary, and that's really the strength of this Cleveland defense. A lot of man-to-man defense, screen right there. They're going to make every throw contested. Screen does a nice job on Dwayne Allen, back from missing a couple of games with an ankle injury.
Browns have not done a good job on the return game. Pat McAfee, the best in the NFL with his net average. Time to get this one off, and this is a low sinker, and it's going to take a great bounce for Cleveland. Look at this. They're going to get it at their own 44. So we've got a good jinx with our second drive of the day for the Browns, and they've got great field position on their own 45 after a 27-yard punt from Pat McAfee. Isaiah Crowell gets his first carry, bounces outside, and there's just nothing there. Terrell Freeman with the tackle down to the field. Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, 2 quarterbacks, 2 very different game day approaches. It was just before 11 a.m. Brian Hoyer had already come out and begun his early pregame warm-ups. It was just before 11 a.m. Johnny Manziel has just got to the building. Now, he wasn't late. It's just his custom, the team tells me. In fact, we didn't see Manziel at all until team warm-ups. Back to you.
And the question is, will we see him today? And that is going to be the interesting thing, as a flag as they try to pitch out to Gabriel, the wideout.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Clete Blakeman is our referee today, former Nebraska quarterback.
There's Joe Thomas right there, the left tackle, the all-pro left tackle. He had 3 penalties last week, and the Cleveland crowd not knowing how to react because he's usually such a tremendous player. Struggles with the penalties the last couple of weeks.
Hoyer in trouble, going to get it off to Gordon. He's got the catch, and he's got a Cleveland first down. And already we've got a game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, anybody can win the NFC South, as you know, and maybe it'll be the defending champs. Carolina out to the early lead in New Orleans. Kelvin Benjamin with the touchdown. It's 7-0. Panthers trying to win for the first time since week 5, Kevin.
You know, John, I really have no idea what to make of the NFC South. We go to Atlanta last week, and the Falcons look great, and like, wow, you know, they're back. And who knows?
Hey, my old Bucks still think they're in it.
They're in it. Everybody's in it.
2 wins.
A 3rd and 9. Pressure up the middle on a flag. That was Jarrell Freeman coming in on the pressure. Let's see what the penalty is.
Looks like they're going to get the Colts for being offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
99 right here. He's lined in the neutral zone, and it negates Jarrell Freeman. Jarrell Freeman right up the pipe, challenging the A-gaps. An effective blitz, but negated by the lining up in the neutral zone.
All right, so now it'll be a 3rd down and 4.
Yeah.
Hoyer blitz again, picked up way high. He was looking for the diminutive Andrew Hawkins, but a couple 3rd down passes, and Hoyer's been off the mark.
And what's interesting to me, Kevin, and you could sense this when we met with the Colts, your top corner's out. And what are they going to do? They're going to bring more pressure. That was their thought process with Vontae Davis. Usually it's bring less pressure, protect the corners. Chuck Pagano, the head coach, Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, said we've got to bring more pressure to make up for the loss of Vontae Davis. I think they also know they have a quarterback who's been struggling. What do? You get up and you pressure.
That's what they've done so far. So they can't take advantage of that good field position. And they'll punt it away. Cribbs just going to fake it, goes over his head into the end zone. Not a very good punt by Spencer Lanning. So we got a scoreless first quarter. Andrew Luck gets the ball. We come back. That's a Browns fan just hanging out at midfield. I don't know if you know, but the Colts are coming your way, my man. Very chill here in Cleveland. And the Colts have it on their own 20. We're scoreless in the first quarter. Second possession for Andrew Luck.
Lucky. 5-3.
Luck standing in, going for Reggie Wayne. Tipped away, though. Wayne had it, but Buster Screen made the play. He's had a good year. Time for 3rd in the NFL with 4 interceptions.
And you see Buster Screen, that's bump and run. That's old school bump and run. That's what Dante Whitner. The belief of these Cleveland Browns is that this Indianapolis explosive offense, they rip apart zone defense. But if you play press, they felt confident in their ability to contest, and they felt that was the key to this game. They're doing it early.
And you will likely see Joe Hayden, their best corner and one of the best in the game, number 23 at the bottom of your screen against T.Y. Hilton. They're going to come near side to Allen, who makes the catch, and then Dante Whitner belts him immediately. Dwayne Allen is back. He missed the last couple games with an ankle injury. So the Colts have 2 viable tight ends between he and Kobe Fleener that have 13 touchdowns between them. Colts hurrying it up on a 3rd and 5 as it gets loud in Cleveland. It's Richardson the back with Luck. And now we get a timeout late by the Browns. The play clock was down to 3, and Cleveland calls their first timeout. Well, we have given you Andrew Luck and his numbers and the great month, the great year. He's having career highs across the board. But, John, this Colts team is as loaded offensively as I can remember, and that's even in Peyton Manning's great years with Marvin Harrison and company.
Well, let me tell you something. When Reggie Wayne is your 4th or 5th target, you've got something out there, and it's led by this guy, T.Y. Hilton. Absolutely been lighting this league on fire since he entered 3 years ago. You got Dante Moncrief, the rookie wide receiver, who's really coming on. Kobe Fleener has been absolutely on fire of late. They get Dwayne Allen back, and they still have Reggie Wayne. And that's what makes them so tough on these type of situations. Third down, he has so many viable options, does Andrew Luck.
You've got Fleener against Whitner, the safety at the bottom of your screen. Play clock at 1. They'll get it off. Blitz coming. Luck throws it towards Fleener. Incomplete. Browns bring the pressure. Barkevius Mingo in Luck's face. And 2 3-and-outs by this Browns defense.
And that's what both of these defenses are. They're man pressure teams. You see the pressure coming from the interior. Mingo gets in Andrew Luck's face. It causes the errant throw from a very accurate quarterback. And there's that press defense that Dante Whitner was talking about.
McAfee off a 27-yard punt. This one much different. Benjamin takes it at the 18. Right side. Benjamin, good return. It's still going. Travis Benjamin still on his feet all the way down to the 45 of Indianapolis. McAfee made the tackle. He's done that before. A 58-yard punt, 37-yard return. Hoyer and the Browns take the field in good position. Scoreless first quarter. Big game in the AFC with the 7-5 Browns against the 8-4 Colts. And really good field position again for Cleveland. They got it on their own 45 the last time, and this time after a good return by Benjamin, starting at the Colts 46. They give it to Crowell, and there's nothing there. Well, Brian Hoyer is a local guy. He grew up 15 minutes from here, John. He said he had starting lineup figures. Remember those of Bernie Kosar, Eric Metcalf. And Bernie Kosar called him Sunday night after he was pulled. And he said that meant the world to him.
Hey, run in! Run there! Run there!
For a guy that grew up idolizing him to have that call, say, hey, hang in there, everything's going to be all right. But he's got to prove it today. Fake, back to throw. And he's going to his tight end, Cameron. He's got it. Welcome back, Jordan Cameron with a big grab. They're going to mark him all the way down to the 26-yard line. It's a gain of 20.
Well, this is something the Browns do exceptionally well. You see him out of the fullback position, the one-on-one, and Hoyer will take this every time with Jordan Cameron. Cameron has been out 5 games with a concussion. He's a big part of this offense.
And here's Crowell breaking tackles at a first down. And he is inside the 15 down to the 13. And how about Cleveland going hurry up here?
A little up-tempo from both teams early, and I like this. They've got the Colts on their heels, and they're going to keep that tempo going.
Crowell remains in. Down to the 13. They give it to him again. Stretch right. Good cut inside the 10. But we're talking about Hoyer, and you know, imagine what it's like for him as he's after Sunday night waiting to see if he's going to be the starter. And he did something therapeutic to take his mind off it.
Well, he was around his family, his wife and kids, and they went Christmas tree shopping. He told us he needed to get away. That was a way to do it. And there's nothing like family. It was a tough week for him. He went out to Patini's, apparently, where you get your Christmas tree here in Cleveland. He's a local boy. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, I think you'd think differently, but our local informal polling, they're behind Brian Hoyer here in Cleveland.
Chance to give the Browns an early lead on a second down. Looking left over the middle, and Freeman got his hands on it and picks it off. It was Adams who picked it off. Freeman was there too, and Mike Adams is the guy who got it. So after a good drive.
Freeman with the assist, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes right through his hands into Mike Adams.
Freeman with the tip, Adams with the pick. Indy football. Well, we were talking about Hoyer being the local boy and the hometown fans supporting him, but you got to produce, and he made a bad decision there. Mike Adams, 7 takeaways out of Delaware. John, I thought Freeman is the guy that picked it off, and you're right, he had the assist. He got both hands on it, but it tipped it up, and Adams picked it off, and after what was a good drive, it's Indianapolis football on their own 20, and they're going to give it off on the handoff to Daniel Herron. Let's take a look at the pick.
And Kevin, in this league, you cannot have careless throws over the middle of the field. Watch Brian Hoyer's feet, and nothing caused him to do this. He's backing up, locked on his receiver, can't transfer his weight, throws into coverage. That's just a poor decision and a poor throw by Brian Hoyer. That kind of play will get you yanked.
By the way, heck of a play by Adams with the fingertips to pick that up. He's had a nice year. Now Andrew and the Colts offense has gone 3 and out for the first 2 drives. First time all year that's happened, but it's not going to happen here. They get the first down. It's Fleener who gets the grab, covered by Leonard.
Kevin, you mentioned the first time with the 3 and outs all year, but remember the last 2 weeks, real slow starts for this Colts offense. It's something that Andrew Luck said they can't do on the road, and you got to give a lot of credit to this Indy defense for keeping them in games the last couple of weeks with the notorious slow starts for Indy.
Last week, Luck got sacked and fumbled on the first play against Jacksonville. He fumbled on the first series, trying to get out of that funk as the carry does not go anywhere. Billy Wynn with a nice tackle of Daniel Herron. The Colts on the run game side, John, they haven't had much luck injury-wise, so they're trying to get it from Herron.
Watch Billy Wynn using his hands exceptionally well. The quickness, getting off and making a tough tackle on Daniel Herron, who's really provided a jolt to this Colts offense in the run game. 49-yard touchdown last week.
Yeah, they had another injury to Ahmad Bradshaw. Trent Richardson has been ineffective for the 2nd year. Vic Ballard's out for 2 years now. But Herron's provided a boost. Here's 2nd and 10. Fake it to him. And they're going to throw it to Herron. Good cut up to the 35. So you're looking at a 3rd down and 7 that's coming up. It was Wynn and Whitner. 3rd down passing is where Andrew Luck has really been unbelievable. He's got a rating of 124, which is 3rd best in the league.
How does that put you 3rd? And that speaks to the quarterbacking in this league. It's exceptional right now.
3rd and 7. Bobble. Luck can run. Throws on the run, and it's knocked away. He was looking for Reggie Wayne. But this guy, Cleveland really likes, K'Wan Williams, the free agent rookie who's played exceptionally well.
Kevin, I got to be honest with you. Early in the week, I'm watching film. I've never heard of K'Wan Williams, but I certainly looked up who 36 was because he kept making play after play after play. And I think it speaks to something that an undrafted free agent's playing ahead of Justin Gilbert, who was the number 8 player chosen in the draft. But K'Wan Williams, the free agent from Pitt's on the field, playing it at a very high level for the Cleveland Browns.
McAfee to punt to Benjamin, who had a great return last time. He does have 2 punt return touchdowns in his career. Sprints right again. And once again, Cleveland will have good field position to start. They're on their own 30. Well, look, since the Browns came back after the move to Baltimore in '99, 20 different starting quarterbacks. That's the most in the league. And they just haven't had anybody stick. You see the best winning percentage is actually Hoyer at 10-5. DeLone was here for a time before he got hurt. Anderson was the best one. He had a Pro Bowl year in 2007. They went to the playoffs last year, but they just have not had any kind of stability at that position, and they've been searching ever since.
And as we all know, this is a quarterback-driven league. Indy is going to have a chance for years to come because they have Andrew Luck. Cleveland's looking for that Andrew Luck.
West goes nowhere. DeQuell Jackson. The one-time Brown makes a stop, and you know it's going to be fascinating to watch today. Hoyer's off to a slow start. He's missed a couple of 3rd down throws with a pick in the end zone. You know, just to see, is there going to be a quick hook if he doesn't perform well in this game for Mike Pettin? You didn't get that sense visiting with them, but we'll see. West coming near side, and Toller trips him up. And so a 3rd down coming up.
Kevin, one big change that the Browns made this week was a change at the center position. Ryan Seymour went in for Nick McDonald at the end of last week's game versus Buffalo. He played well, and they made a change, but it's something this offense has sorely missed. They lost Alex Mack early this season. He's a Pro Bowl player, an exceptional player. They haven't been the same since.
Yeah, and you're talking about a guy in Seymour who hasn't played center in the NFL, even though he's only been here a little while. He played a little bit at Vanderbilt, but he was mostly a tackle and a guard in college. On a 3rd and 6, blitz again. Hoyer standing in, spins away, just tries to throw it away and does. Colts have brought the pressure all day long. Walden came there, and the Browns will punt.
Well, Greg Minuski, you see all those Colts up there. Greg Minuski clearly knows that he's got a quarterback who got pulled last week, a lot of controversy. And I think it's real smart. You come after them early and you say, hey, we're going to show you different looks. You're going to have to beat us. And thus far, Greg Minuski and the Colts defense doing a fabulous job.
Well, Minuski has blitzed on every third down, too, at least bringing one linebacker, and it's worked. And so Lanning will punt. Briggs drifting over, going to let it go. Surprised he let that one go as it bounces down to the 10, and the Colts backed up in the final minute of the first quarter. Well, this week, Fox brings you the biggest fight card in broadcast TV history. Junior Dos Santos taking on Stipe Miocic, plus Rafael Dos Anjos battling Nate Diaz and a whole lot more. A two-night UFC event begins Friday with the Ultimate Fighter finale on Fox Sports 1. Continues Saturday with UFC Fight Night on Fox. And so the Colts now have been really quiet offensively, starting on their own 10-yard line. The Colts have gone against some man-press teams, and those are the teams where they have, I want to say struggled, the #1 offense in the league, but had more trouble.
Well, the New England Patriots come to mind, did a nice job of neutralizing them. The Pittsburgh Steelers played that type of game versus them, and that's what the Browns were pointing to, and that's just the Browns' style on defense.
Here's Luck on first down, all kinds of time going deep for Hilton, and there's nothing there. And so an interesting start for this one, John. I mean, the Colts, well, they've been slow starters, so I guess we're kind of used to that by now. Their offense is #1 in the league, but the Browns and the microscope that's on Brian Hoyer.
Well, he's the local boy, but it's not going to be long if we keep having series and interceptions that these fans are going to want Johnny Manziel, and Mike Penton's going to realize that Johnny Manziel. Now, Brian Hoyer's got to get a hold of himself. Andrew Luck, if you're the Colts, he's shown an ability to bounce back from these slow starts and just light people up.
The second down and 10 here. Daniel Herron is the back. 5-man rush. Luck stays in, hit as he throws, incomplete. Browns are getting some pressure. That time Jabal Sheard, who's been in there a couple of times. And now 3rd and 10.
So you see this pressure. Watch it all up here. Bringing extra men in Andrew Luck's face. He likes to hold the football, stunning. The tight coverage outside, contested throws. Cleveland Browns defense doing a nice job doing exactly what they told us they were going to do.
Browns have hit Andrew Luck 5 times already. Show blitz, here they come. It's blocked up initially, but now Luck in trouble. He fumbles, it's loose, and the Browns recover. Touchdown. Craig Robertson, the guy who recovered the fumble.
If Andrew Luck has a weakness, he fumbled the ball 11 times coming into today. It's going to be Paul Kruger who eventually knocks it out. Desmond Bryant, and then Craig Robertson who lands on it. But Andrew Luck, perplexed by this Cleveland defense, the late pressure. Craig Robertson there for the touchdown for the Cleveland Browns defense.
And they're looking at it as they do upstairs just to confirm. This has been a problem, for Indianapolis, and Chuck Pagano stressed it in our meeting with him yesterday. John, the last 2 games as a team, the Colts have fumbled 11 times.
Too much. It's a problem. Right? As explosive as they are, that's something they need to clean up to go far in these playoffs, to get to the playoffs.
Extra point is up and good. So a defensive touchdown by the Browns. They bring the pressure. They get the sack and forced fumble. And then it's Robertson who recovers.
One thing for these Cleveland Browns, great start defensively, but they're going to have to keep coming after Andrew Luck. He says, my fault, that's on me. And he's shown ability way back to his Stanford days to bounce back from bad starts, from bad things. So the Browns know that. They talked about it. You have to keep coming at Andrew Luck. He won't just lay down.
Oh, it's something they've got to change. And for Luck, we told you about the Colts as a team. But that's a 12th fumble now for Luck himself, and the 6th one that he has lost. Now, part of that is a good thing because he stands in there to the last second, tries to make plays, and he does a lot of times, but that's an awful lot.
Yeah, so often in life, you know, your greatest strengths are sometimes your greatest weaknesses. And Andrew Luck's ability to stand in the pocket, he's got a great pocket presence. Sometimes he holds it just a tad too long, and he paid for it right there.
That blitz was picked up on the outside initially, but then coming with the pressure inside. So Cundiff will kick it off. So even though it's been a spotty offensive start for Cleveland, the defense does the job. Cundiff kick it off. Here's Cribbs, who loves to take it out against his former team, but he's not going to go anywhere. K'Waun Williams came up and made the stick. It's pretty incredible that Indy's offense is as good as it is, considering this. This was on the first series against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. Then on the first play against Washington, that happened. And then the next time they got the ball back, he threw this, an interception. I mean, it's a theme now for Indy.
It really is, and it's one they're going to have to fix. I mean, you see today, Andrew Luck, Desmond Bryant hits him first. Kruger, Browns all over Andrew Luck.
Well, the Browns defense getting them on the board with a touchdown, but the special teams for Cleveland doing the job too.
And that's what it's resulting in. You see those starts. And Kevin coming in, you would have thought a major advantage for the Colts. Special teams, the Browns are dominating in that category right now.
It's been a factor. And so Indianapolis, after the turnover and then the recovery in the end zone by Robertson, down 7-0, final 35 seconds of the first quarter. And here's Herring. Up the gut, good run, and that should take us to the end of the first quarter. He's out to the 22, and that should wind us down unless the Colts hurry it up, which maybe they will. Herring remains in the game. 2nd and 3. Luck, 4-man rush over the middle. Reggie Wayne dropped it. Been that kind of day for the Colts. Just out of sync, and give some credit to this Browns defense for making it that way.
I played against Reggie Wayne for a long time. You don't see that much. Yeah. Right in his hands. Andrew Luck can't throw it any better. Reggie Wayne looking to get downfield before he brings it in. Uncharacteristic for the Colts, uncharacteristic for Reggie Wayne.
On 3rd down, the Colts were 6th best in the NFL coming in, but today they're 0 for 4. On a 3rd and 3, just a 3-man rush, tipped and incomplete. Dante Whitner jumped in there on Kobe Fleener to knock it down, and the Colts will have to punt one more time. We've reached the end of the first quarter. It's the Browns 7, Colts nothing. We start the second quarter from Cleveland. Glad to have you along. Pam Oliver on the sidelines, John Lynch. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Mike Pereira in L.A. Browns on a defensive touchdown on a sack and forced fumble from Andrew Luck. Have the 7-0 lead. McAfee's punt to Benjamin. Steps back, assesses, turns on the Jets. He's had a good day returning. Can you believe it's December already? That means the holiday's just around the corner, and Fox helps you celebrate with a very merry Sunday fun day. 4 brand new Christmas episodes that will fill you with cheer. It all starts at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox.
Well, Kevin, we met with Dante Whitner the other day, and he talked about tight coverage being the key to this game for them. They get in the bunch to try to get that tight coverage off. Dante Whitner says, "Nuh-uh, I'm still going to press you." Reads the route, gets there before Fleener can. Outstanding defense once again for Dante Whitner and the Browns.
Here's Hoyer, and in and out of the hands of Jim Dre. So both of these offenses a bit discombobulated at the start. Hoyer just 3 of 8 now for 35 yards.
Yeah, and I think this is just a battle of which offense can get on their feet. They've both been a little confused. They've both been dominated on the outside, and then the blitz is bothering both quarterbacks. So which quarterback can adjust most quickly and most efficiently to that and make the adjustments.
But this is a game the Browns want. A low-scoring game. This is a game that they want because it's in their favor right now against the high-scoring Colts. Crowell, pitch up the middle, and he's out to the 39. We've got a game break with our pal Joel Klatt.
Kevin, let's go to Cincinnati. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati battling it out in the AFC North, and after a Heath Miller touchdown, the Bengals go right down the field. Jermaine Gresham in the corner of the end zone, 10-yard score. We're all tied up at 7. Back to Cleveland. Kevin, John, and Pam.
I think the Bengals can almost put away the Steelers if they win that game today.
I think Joel Klatt's everywhere. He's in Santa Clara doing college. Yesterday he's back in studio. He's everywhere.
Joel actually has a cot in Studio B. I don't know if you know that, John. It's Cameron, the tight end, in motion, back after 5 weeks from a concussion, number 84. Blitz picked up. Hoyer backs away and throws incomplete. And, John, it looked like he did the same thing there as he did on the interception, kind of stepped away from the throw.
That's just poor fundamental football, you know, and I'm a fan of Hoyer's, but watch him. He's got room to set his feet. Instead, he throws off his heels. When you throw off your heels, you're not going to be accurate. You got to fix those fundamentals to be effective at any level, not just in the National Football League.
So here's Cribbs back to receive the punt. If you like punters, this game's for you, John.
Love them.
Returnable for Cribbs. Coming near. Oh, good tackle. And there is a flag. Marlon Moore made a great tackle, but there's a flag way back at the 43. So let's see what this is all about.
Kevin, you know what? It seems to me that this Cleveland Browns team got real tired of hearing about Josh Cribbs' return to Cleveland and how great the return game was for the Colts.
During the kick, holding, return team number 99. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. First down, Indianapolis.
Special teams doing the job for Cleveland. How about Marlon Moore making it happen? 7-0 Browns. Second quarter, 7-0 Browns. Down to the field, Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, not on the field right now is the Colts center, the rookie Jonathan Harrison. He's been on the sideline getting medical attention. They've looked at his neck. They've tried to work it out a little bit. Right now, he is just sitting down. They're around him, watching him carefully. But right now, he's not in the game. Back to you.
So A.Q. Shipley, number 63 is third-year man, picked up on waivers from the Ravens. So now the Colts without their center, and Hugh Thornton, their starting right guard, inactive for the second straight game with a knee injury. That bears watching. Colts really backed up here after the penalty on the return. From their own 5, it's a 1st and 10. Luck, 3-step drop, a little slant, and he's got a completion out to the 15-yard line. Good guy to get involved is Hilton.
Well, it's the guy they have to get involved. He's going against one of the better corners in the National Football League in Joe Hayden. That's going to be a great matchup to watch all day because you have two guys that are at the top of their craft going after each other.
Luck going up top looking for Hilton. T.Y. knocked down by Hayden. These Colts will go down the field with the best of them, but Hayden up to the task.
Andrew Luck talking to us. How do you fight the aggressiveness of the Cleveland secondary? Andrew Luck said very simply, you be aggressive right back. But Joe Hayden does a great job of being patient, going up and high pointing the football without interfering on T.Y. Hilton.
We saw Odell Beckham a few weeks ago, and before the game, before he made that sick catch a couple weeks later, making all these catches one-handed. How about Joe Hayden today?
Unbelievable. Just not just the receivers that can do that. Those DBs can do it as well.
Practicing making one-handed interceptions. Here, a little pitch, bobbled and a flag. This is not going to fly, this play. And it's going to be on Indianapolis.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's on Anthony Costanzo, the left tackle.
And I tell you, Kevin, just by that play, they were going to have a first down. This Colts offense, very out of sorts. They've got to gather themselves in a hurry.
Dante Moncrief lines up on the bottom of your screen when they give you that shot. He's a big play rookie. Colts have not converted a third down yet today. Luck back, delayed blitz, and it's tipped away. They brought pressure all day long, and that time Barkevious Mingo got his hands on it, and the Colts punt again.
Well, you have to remember where Mike Pettin, the head coach for the Cleveland Browns, where his roots. You see Mingo with the delayed pressure, but he was a coach for Rex Ryan. He brings pressure. That's what he believes in, and that's what he'll continue to do even against Andrew Luck. Thus far, it's been incredibly successful.
This should be a good return possibility for Benjamin. He's got a 37-yard return already today. McAfee, plenty of time, and this is not a good punt either. It's going to bounce. Benjamin's going to think about picking it up. He does. We got a penalty, and he's tackled immediately. On the tackle was Colt Anderson. 44-yard punt, not a return, but let's see what the penalty is. But the Colts have had good field position quite a few times in this game because of their defense and special teams. They've yet to take advantage of it, though. You just tuned in. The only touchdown, a defensive touchdown, a sack, and a forced fumble. That was recovered by Robertson in the end zone. That's been it. It's been a defensive game so far.
There are 2 fouls against the return team on the play. During the kick, holding number 22. That penalty's declined. Also during the kick, holding number 15. That penalty being forced 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Cleveland.
So there you go. So the only touchdown coming via the D this time. The sack by Kruger and Bryant. Robertson the recovery. That's where we stand. 7-0 Browns. 7-0 Browns in their football as they pitch it to West, trying to get this run game going. And they're out to almost the 40, nearly a gain of 5. This Browns defense, John. Andrew Luck is 4 of 14 for 24 yards. The Colts have 31 yards.
It's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've got him confused. They've got him, you know, on his heels. These DBs are standing up to these receivers. We talked about the weapons, and they're doing just a great job. But as I said, you got to keep coming at them.
Give it to West, and there's just not much there. Mike Adams was there first, and the Indy defense is doing fine too. And I think for Cleveland, you know, you hit it early. They told us they want to get the run going. And they've got 2 rookies trying to get it going. One of them with Crowell, who's got a hip injury, didn't practice all week.
Well, you have to get it going, and that doesn't, not just because Brian Hoyer's your quarterback. Think back to the roots of this offense. Kyle Shanahan, his father, Mike Shanahan, when they won Super Bowls, they ran the football well. They had John Elway as a quarterback, but you have to run the football in this offense because everything comes off of the play action, the boot game, everything works off the run game.
They're sticking with it today, but on third, they'll throw it. Hoyer over the middle. He's got his big tight end for a first down at midfield. It's Cameron, and the Browns move the chains.
You know, Kevin, we look down at the field, and not quite as big as Rob Gronkowski, but that's who this guy resembles, Jordan Cameron. He's just a huge target, and that's a welcome sight for a guy like Jordan Hoyer, who's struggling finding his targets of late.
They talked about Gronkowski, you talked about Graham. It was this guy, Cameron, who was second in receptions and yards among tight ends last year. I don't think many people realize just how good of a year he had last season. Here's West, gets to the edge, good speed, and West with a big gain, picks up 8.5 on first down, and Cameron there delivering a good block.
Cameron did, as did Joe Thomas, the all-pro left tackle. Watch them on the combination. Joe Thomas doubles and then blocks down. That gives Terrence West the perimeter, and he takes advantage of it.
Run it again. West cutting back up the middle where he's hit by Corey Redding. So West is getting more carries than Crowell. That's his 9th carry now for 36 yards.
And I think that's a good thing because I think as I watch it, this is their best back. You know, and I know talking to some people on the Browns staff, they feel the same way. He's just been inconsistent thus far. When they can trust him to hold on to the ball, I think he becomes the lead back. But Crowell's a guy they like an awful lot as well.
You talk about that and holding on to the ball. He has fumbled each of the last 2 games. And really, his fumble last week against the Bills turned the entire game around. So that's the key for him. And now we get time called.
Cleveland takes its second timeout.
The Browns taking their second timeout. Up 7-0 on these Colts. Tonight, Fox Sports Live, don't miss an inspiring special feature. Tiger Woods meets a special 3-year-old and the most unlikely of golfers. How he's not only inspiring Tiger, but redefining what it means to be disabled. Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide. Browns fans out in full force. Temperatures in the 30s, but a nice day. We'll take 30s over 20s, John, by the way.
I'll take just any degrees. I'll take it.
First and 10. Good drive for the Browns. There's 6 play now. Crowell in the game in the backfield and movement on the left side. Thomas moved, but he's pointing on the other side. Notice a lot of pointing goes on when these calls happen.
It's him. It's him.
You know, we talked about the running game, though, in all seriousness. The Browns a couple weeks ago releasing the veteran Ben Tate.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Watch Warner right here at the, there he goes, jumps, and if Joe Thomas, the rule is immediate reaction. Not sure if it was immediate, but quick enough for Joe Thomas, and that's a professional play. A guy who's played a lot of football understands they jump, you get 5 yards.
His point was correct. But filling you in on Ben Tate, the veteran released a few weeks ago, he was not having a good year, but entrusting it to these 2 rookies, and Joe Thomas told us, what does it mean? It means that we're going to play the best people. Crowell in there now on a 1st and 5. We'll get it. Running right, patiently, got a first down. Good patient run by the rookie Isaiah Crowell.
Kevin, you talk about the patience. That's exactly what Crowell did well. He didn't get in a hurry, patient behind those blockers, and then put the foot in the ground and get downhill. And that's what backs who have success in this system have the ability to do. Wait, find the hole, put your foot in the ground and hit it. That's exactly what he does.
And another first down. 7th play of the drive for Cleveland. Well, not much going there.
Kevin, this is exactly what the Cleveland Browns wanted. We speak of the run game and it being the foundation of this, but the other thing is it keeps Andrew Luck on the sideline.
Yes.
And that's what they talked about, limiting his possessions. They've had him struggling, as you see the rush yards per game of late, but they also know Andrew Luck. It's hard to keep him down, and the best place to keep him is on the sidelines. That's exactly what they're doing.
It's a big difference, 28-yard difference in their range. They're up to 68 yards today. It's a good start, and they've had the ball for 13 and a half minutes compared to the Colts 7. Now they've got to score, though. 2nd and 9, Hoyer hit immediately. Big-time pressure by DeQuell Jackson, forcing the incompletion.
You watch the double A-gap pressure. The A-gap's right between the center and the guard. Boom here, boom here. Here they come, right in your face. And here comes DeQuell Jackson, the former Cleveland Brown, right in front of the dog pound, announcing his presence.
So this will be a 3rd down and 9. Browns 2 of 6 on 3rd down today.
No, block.
Hoyer, blitz coming. They're going to throw it, and it's dropped. They had Benjamin on the slant. He threw it behind him, and Benjamin dropped it. So a bad combo. And again, after a really nice drive, Browns will have to settle for a field goal try.
No more important quality in this league, accuracy. Now that's a ball that should be caught, but Hoyer can help him out by putting it in front of him. Travis Benjamin would tell you he should have caught that as well. He should, but Hoyer can help him out with the accuracy. Hit him in stride, he gets the first down.
Here's Billy Cundiff, who has been really inconsistent. This is a 40-yard field goal. It's 21 of 27 on the year. Snapped the holder fine, and he pushed it right. He has had a real up-and-down system. He missed a gimme a couple weeks ago. That's a 40-yard field goal. And these Browns have had good drives. They've had good field position, and they just can't capitalize when they're down there. 7-0, though. They're in front. Chuck Pagano knows, fortunate to only be down a touchdown. But this is just unacceptable for an NFL kicker. You can't be 6 of 11 the last 5 games, especially. He's missed some gimmies. He missed a 37-yarder. He pushed a 40-yarder there. You know, when you're a team that isn't an explosive offensive team, you can't do it. Browns leading thanks to their defense on a defensive touchdown. Colts have been completely shut down. They've only got 31 yards on the day with 8:50 to go in the first half. Fake. Luck. Pressure. Rolling. Here comes the rush, and Luck's going to take off and run it for a first down. Luck is a pretty enormous human being, but he's got some wheels for a big guy.
Well, and it's the thing when I say he reminds me a little bit of Aaron Rodgers, that's the part of his game. He can do everything you want in the pocket, but then he can also do this, and that's real tough to deal with because you bottle him up not so fast. He can go get 11 yards and move the chains. And as a defensive coordinator, as a defensive player, that kicks you in the gut because you think you've done everything right. We covered, but he gets a first down. That's hard to deal with.
He's run for 213 yards coming in, averaging over 4 yards a carry. You don't think it because he's so big, 6'4", 240. 4-man rush, a lot of time going up top, and he's got his tight end Fleener making the grab in Browns territory. They're going to mark it down at the 39. It's a pickup of 18.
Well, Fleener has been on fire of late, and this is a mismatch. K'Wan Williams having a great year, but you have Kobe Fleener, a big tight end there. He beats him with his athleticism. That's an advantage, a matchup they have to continue to go to and take advantage of.
Mike's 53. Lock. Mike's 53. Lock.
Four-man rush. Luck just going to dump it over the middle. That one is going to work out quite well. It's Herron who's got it inside the 15. A lot of time for Luck, and he hits his running back for a big gainer and picks up 26.
And this is a part of Andrew Luck's game when you talk to his head coach, Chuck Pagano, that he thinks he's grown the most. You can't go broke taking a profit. He takes that profit, it turns into a big one. You don't have to press it down the field all the time. Sometimes take the short throw and it can turn into a big game.
So the Colts have more yards in this drive than they have had the entire game to this point. Knocking on the door. And first and 10 from the 13. Luck looking near side. Moncrief tries to get a block from Akeem Nicks, but a short gain there. Buster Screen and Jim Leonard played it well. Let's go down to Pam.
Well, Kevin, we couldn't be seeing the results of some of the adjustments. I was watching down on the Colts sideline, which was very, very busy. We got an injury, of course, to center Jonathan Harrison. We saw Luck and the replacement come in, do some snaps, but the biggest adjustment that I saw was Luck going up and down the sideline, telling the offensive line, we may do some silent count. Haven't seen it just yet, but that was one of the things that he was appealing to the group. Back here.
Especially challenging with that backup center Shipley, and as Pam noted, Luck to throw a little high. Ed Herron probably would have been a touchdown, but he was high on the throw.
Uncharacteristic for Andrew. He knows that's a touchdown right there. We talked about accuracy with Hoyer. You got to be accurate in this league. Wide open, he missed him.
And so a third down where Indianapolis is 0 for 6 on the day.
It's an area that the Cleveland D has excelled all year. Came in 4th in red zone defense.
Trent Richardson, the running back, lined up as a wideout, bottom of the screen. Luck looks the other way. Back up the middle, can run, going to do it. Look at Luck with the moves, and he's in! Told you he can run. And the Colts, an extra point away from tying it up.
And that's what's so tough. I mean, these Browns have played an outstanding defensive game, but what got them on this series? Andrew Luck's legs. It started the drive and it finished the drive. Great coverage down the field. You have to account for Andrew Luck, though, and then watch the move. He puts on Kirksey, a big man that can move and move well. Little juke, fakes in, goes out. Looks like a halfback, does Andrew Luck.
And so a 6-play drive for 70 yards. Considering the Colts came into that drive with 31 total yards, I'd say they woke up. It was Luck's legs. The big run earlier in the drive, and then nobody was open there, so he took it himself On third down, Vinatieri puts up the extra point. We're tied. So much good has happened for the Browns, but the Colts just erased that with a good-looking drive, and we are all tied up. Third rushing touchdown on the year for Luck. Third rushing touchdown of his career against Cleveland. And the Colts were completely dormant on offense. But they got a little boost after the missed field goal. And they've tied it all up. Kickoff, and Benjamin thinking about it, going to take it out. Benjamin looking for a seam. He does get across the 20-yard line. The Browns, after a good drive, this is the miss from Cunda.
And what it did two things. First of all, you got a 10-0 game. You missed the points, but it gave the Colts field position, a little breathing room for the first time all day. And what does Andrew Luck do? He takes advantage of it. That's a big swing in this game.
And then Luck with his legs. This is a third down play, and there was nobody open. Good little move. Yeah, the nice little play there, and got to the outside and scored. And now how do the Browns and Brian Hoyer respond? First and 10, that's Cameron in motion. Fake it to Crowell. Time for Hoyer, coming near side of Cameron, the tight end. Game break time. We check in with Joel Klatt.
Kevin, we go to Cincinnati. TCU left out of the playoffs, so Andy Dalton in a loam says, I'm going to take it out on the Steelers. 20-yard touchdown run, the longest of his career. They go up by 7, 14-7. Kevin and John.
Joel, thanks. Big game there. How do you figure the Panthers 17-3 over the Saints? I can't figure the Saints.
I stopped trying to. Times they look like world beaters, at times they look awful.
So strange. Here's 7-7 and a 2nd and 7. Hoyer's got all day. Deep going for Hawkins, and he overthrew him by 10 yards. And that was Gabriel, not Hawkins. 18, not 16, and he was wide open.
Boy, and he's got a touchdown. The local kid from St. Ignatius, Brian Hoyer, has Gabriel wide open. Touchdown, but overshoots him. See Gabriel going to come on the high post. The play action gets Mike Adams, the safety. That's a touchdown, folks. Have to be able to hit that. Brian Hoyer doesn't. And the fans, they love guys from Cleveland. Dante Whitner, Brian Hoyer. But you got to be producing. Right now, Brian Hoyer's struggling to do so.
He's only 5 of 14 with an interception. Here comes pressure. It is blocked up. Hoyer going over the middle, and that time he makes amends with a good hookup to Benjamin. And a first down.
That's something everybody you talk to about Brian Hoyer will tell you. It can look awful at times. His ability to stay in there and bounce back, and that's exactly what he does. That's his best throw of the day, coming off a miss, fires it in there to Travis Benjamin.
Got a good block of DeQuell Jackson by Crowell on the blitz pickup too. That helped. 27-yard gain into Colts territory. Terrence West, good hole up the middle for West. First down. As he's down out to the 35, it's a gain of 12.
Watch the center, Ryan Seymour, right there. Get up to that second level. Get on Jarrell Freeman. They made a move at that center position, and I think it's paying dividends. Terrence West does as well.
West got 48 yards on 10 carries. He'll stay in there. Get it to him coming right. Not much running room. Montori Hughes in on the stop.
Kevin, I spoke to Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, last night, and he talked about the run, even when it's not going well, because he's a little worried. He's got 2 rookie running backs from small schools that they've hit that proverbial rookie wall. Their season's in their minds supposed to be done right now. They're tired. Can they be mentally tough? But he said even if they aren't running effectively, it's important that we continue to do it to keep this Colts defense off balance. And the play action game becomes so much more effective.
And they have done it. They've run it more than 50% of their plays today, so they're sticking with it. Give it again to West. Tries to break through the initial tackle, but then Jarrell Freeman was there to clean it up. And West is an interesting guy. I mean, he went to Towson, where sometimes college numbers are what they are, John. You know, it's hard to translate to the next level. But his numbers last year at Towson, ready for this? 2,500 yards on the ground and 41 rushing touchdowns. I mean,
that's good wherever it comes from.
Nerf football on the street, that's good, John.
It's interesting watching Josh Gordon. Only 2 catches on the day, not even in there on this series.
He caught the first 2 completions for Hoyer. Surprised he's not in on a 3rd down and 8. Hoyer going to come near side. He's got a completion. That time it's Hawkins, and that time he's got another 1st down. So a couple big 3rd down conversions, and the Browns putting together a nice drive.
Well, Chuck Pagano talking about these Browns offense. He said, we can't let the Smurfs beat us. And one of those Smurfs he was talking about was Andrew Hawkins, who goes 5'7", 180. And Pagano, with all due respect, said these little guys are tough. Their quickness, he felt like that was going to be an issue covering these guys, and right there they took advantage of Hawkins' quickness.
So Hoyer making 2 big throws on 3rd down, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Browns on the move, tied at 7 with the Colts. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Good game here in Cleveland, and a big game too for the Browns at 7-5, chasing the Bengals in 1st place. And the Colts at 8-4, that could actually win the division today. Hoyer's made 2 big throws on 3rd down. This is 1st and 10. Fake it. And they set up the screen, and it's going to be good. It's Hawkins inside the 10. It's Gabriel. I keep getting the 6 and the 8.
The Smurfs.
They're both the same size.
But the Smurfs have come alive. And you see the quickness. Here's what they give you. They give you great rack run after the catch. It's exactly what Gabriel does. They've got the Smurfs involved. It's been productive.
Gabriel's 5'8", Hawkins is 5'7". Can't one of them wear like a 17 instead of a 6 and an 8? They're killing me up here.
Well, they are. They look exactly alike.
And now it is a 1st and goal. Burwell gets the call, gets the touchdown. Into the dog pound he goes, and the Browns back in front. So a 9-play, 77-yard drive, and a good one for Hoyer, converting 2 big 3rd downs to keep it going. Extra point by Cundiff is up and good, and the Browns back in front, 14-7.
I tell you what, the Browns made a change at the center. Watch Ryan Seymour again. He's got the key block. They're going to stretch in this offense. That's what they do. Crowell does, and just right puts his foot in the ground. There's Seymour, makes the key block. Crowell again with patient running, finds the end zone.
They needed that, John. You know, they had good field position. They moved the ball. They had the 1 interception in the end zone. Then they had the missed field goal. So finally finishing and converting in 2 big 3rd down throws for Hoyer after he missed that wide open bomb to Gabriel.
Yeah, and that's what people talk about over and over. It doesn't always look pretty. Even the Colts were saying the one thing that worries you, he'll look awful at times, but he's got this bounce back ability. We saw it on that drive.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. And so 14-7 with 1:14 to go and the half. Colts have all 3 timeouts. Burwell's got 8 rushing touchdowns, and the Browns with 16 rushing touchdowns this year. They only had 4 all of last year. Cundiff's kickoff. Cribbs takes that out every time, does the same here. Josh Cribbs fumbled the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Eric Martin came in with a big-time hit to force the fumble, but the Colts get a break as it goes out of bounds.
Watch Eric Martin put his head right on the football. You heard the pop up here. Boy, they are fired up for Josh Cribbs. They said, you're a former Cleveland Brown, but you're not going to come in here as a Colt and run all over us. They're making sure he doesn't.
I think you tempt the football guys when you say I'm going to jump into the dog pound after a touchdown.
I agree.
You know,
he deferred later on and said, I'm going to be respectful, but I think once he mentioned that,
you just can't do it. So the Colts with 1:08 and all 3 timeouts left, down by 7. Luck Pressure coming. That's because they set up a screen. A lot of blocking for Herron. And a good run as he's across the 40, and they're going to mark him near the 44. So they're going to put it right down out of bounds at the 43. That's a good start. And a 20-yard gain.
One thing, Kevin, with this offense, 59 seconds, it's an eternity.
Yeah.
They can score as quick as any offense. It's a quick striking, explosive offense. They can cover ground in a hurry.
And you've got a kicker in Adam Terry. You know his name, obviously. He hasn't missed all year. And he hit one from 58 on the field before the game without a problem.
It's 41, isn't he?
Yeah, I think. Luck spins around. Going to throw across his body and just get rid of it. Kruger and Bryant, who had the sack and forced fumble earlier on the touchdown on the pressure.
You see Bryant walking back, but I can tell you from having played it, especially the big guys, when you have a quarterback that starts running, those D linemen start huffing and puffing. Just that play right there takes a little out of them.
An injury timeout, and that is K'Wan Williams, their slot corner. And while we have a moment, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, I'll be joined by all these guys as the Steelers and Bengals lock up in a key AFC North battle, and the Ravens look to take a wild card spot from the Dolphins. We get you caught up on all the action coming up on the Visa Half.
Hey, who's this good-looking guy?
Howie or Michael? Which one you talking about?
Jimmy's everywhere.
That's a little freaky. Our virtual guys at the half. Is Andrew Luck. So K'Wan Williams, their slot corner, who's been tremendous, hurt. Jordan Poyer comes in the game. Justin Gilbert in the game as well. Their rookie, the 8th overall pick. There's Williams. And that's Gilbert. So it's ironic, right? Williams, the free agent rookie, has been great. And this guy, who they traded up to get at number 8, Gilbert, has barely played.
And he draws the future Hall of Famer and Reggie Wayne on his first snap.
52 seconds left in the half. Colts with all 3 timeouts. On second down, 4-man rush comes to Herron, and Herron has nowhere to go. It's Robertson, who had the touchdown earlier with a shorthanded tackle. Now Indy calls their first timeout.
That's a really smart play by Robertson. Watch Robertson right here. Well, that's his man. Boom, Herron. Go get him. Don't wait. That's exactly what he does. That eliminates the space for Herron to put a move on him. That's good linebacker play. When they're out there, that's your man. Go ahead, go get him.
The Colts still with 2 timeouts and 45 seconds to go. As you look around this AFC North, Bengals in front in the standings and in front against Pittsburgh today. And the Dolphins, who right now, if it ended today, are a playoff team and a good one with the Ravens at the half.
It's a good division. It really is. From top to bottom. And every year it's a dogfight to get to the top of the AFC North.
It's a 3rd and 14 now. 3-man rush and still pressure. Luck unloads, and Robertson almost picked it off. He's had a heck of a first half. Kruger in a 3-man rush got pressure, though, in Luck's face.
Watch Robertson. All he's doing right here at the sticks, he's just going to read Andrew Luck's eyes. Andrew Luck's eyes are there. He almost steals one. That's a nice series by Craig Roberts.
Interesting that Jim Leonard back now to return this punt. He's returned plenty of punts in his career. Mike Penn just want to make sure there's no fumble here. Benjamin's been electric today. But they send back Leonard instead. McAfee. Directional kick, good bounce. And that'll go right all the way down to the 10 with under 30 seconds to go. Looks like a situation where the Browns will probably take a knee and be happy with their lead going into the break. It's been a half where the Cleveland defense has been really, really good. I mean, the Colts put together one drive, and if it weren't for Andrew Luck's feet, they wouldn't have had that drive. He converted a big 3rd down, then ran in for the touchdown. Brian Hoyer's been erratic in this first half, and to be quite honest, he's been erratic all year. You know, he has some good moments, he has some bad moments. That's been him today.
But he's 10-5 coming in, and he's leading 14-7 right now. So that's the name of this game.
Yeah, the one stat that matters, wins. And right now, the Browns are winning, and that's important. So Hoyer takes his team into the locker room up 14-7 on the Colts. Good first half, defensive first half of football here in Cleveland. A lot going on in the league, and why don't we send you on back to L.A. Kurt Menefee and the fellas. Kurt, take it away. You see the score, 14-7. It's the Browns over the Colts as we get set for the third quarter. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan, and it's the Browns defense holding the Colts to 117 yards. That's the lowest first half total for them all year. That's a pretty big accomplishment, John Lynch, because the Colts come into this game with the #1 offense scoring and the #1 yardage overall. It's a pretty big deal.
And how about the job Joe Hayden, the top corner for Cleveland's doing on T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton is blowing up everybody in this league, and Joe Hayden has him to 1 catch for 9 yards. And that's something that the Colts and Andrew Luck are going to have to get going. They got to get T.Y., I think, motioning, get him off that press coverage, tight splits, anything they can do to free him up so that he can get going. And then Fleener, I thought Fleener was effective when they went to him. They got to go to him a little bit more.
Colts won the opening toss and deferred, so they will get it to start this second half. Cribbs going to take it on out from 7.5 yards deep up to the 20. And that's where the Colts will take over. Pam Oliver is down on the field. Hey, Pam.
Hey there, Kevin. Talked to both coaches at halftime. First, Chuck Pagano, who wasn't happy about much. He told me we have to kick the ball better, cover kicks better. Defensively, we have to get off the field. We need to run the ball better, and we can't turn it over offensively. But he said it's the kind of game that I would expect. It's going to be 60 minutes. As for Mike Pettin, he was really happy with the way Brian Hoyer responded. He said he feels like he's gaining confidence. I also asked him if there's anything I can report about Johnny Manziel. He said no.
Now, calm down.
Back to you, Kevin.
Well, at least he gave you something, Pam. That's for sure. Manziel's here. We can tell you that. You saw him earlier.
At 11 o'clock here.
Yes. So here's Luck in the Colts. Offense has been quiet. And it's Kobe Fleener, John, as you said, making that catch. And Fleener's out to the 33 for a first down. So you talked about getting T.Y. Hilton going, getting him off the press. How do you get him off the press?
Well, you can do it by formationally. If you reduce and bunch up formations, create traffic, that will pull Joe Hayden off him. I think putting him in motion as well. He's struggling getting off the bump with Joe Hayden right now. And Joe Hayden in off coverage right now.
That matchup on the bottom of your screen. Hilton's number 13. Luck looking there on the slant, and he gets him. And Hilton makes the catch, but tackle quickly and now fumbles. And who's going to recover? Browns say they have it. I did not hear a whistle that he was down. If the Browns got it, they do. So the catch, let's see the replay. I think the ball's out. That's Browns football.
And what a tremendous, we just were talking about Joe Hayden. That time he gives up the catch, but great corners in this league, what they do, they finish plays. Hilton catches the ball. Watch him violently bring that right hand in. That causes the ball to come loose. The Cleveland Browns will tell you nobody's playing better at the corner position in the NFL than Joe Hayden. The more I watch him, the more I agree with him.
And so Hayden forces the fumble. They are looking at this, but it sure looks to us like it'll be Browns football. They're up 14-7 review time.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, they look at this play. It sure looks to us it'll be Browns football.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down, Cleveland.
Joe Hayden with a big play, and the Colts fumble again.
Well, the language that the league uses, 2 feet down, 1-2, an act common to the game. That looks common to me, and it looks like a tremendous finish by Joe Hayden, who's having one heck of a season for the Cleveland Browns.
And so he forced it. Paul Kruger recovered it, and here are the Browns with a great chance to add to their lead, starting at the Colts' 38-yard line. And we get a flag.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Mitchell Schwartz, the right tackle. Meanwhile, for Indianapolis, John, they now have fumbled 14 times in the last 3 games. That's an epidemic.
It really is. You know, coming into the game, they had only lost 11, but they had put it on the ground 24 times, most in the league by a long shot. They've got a fumbling problem, and to go far in the playoffs, explosive offense or not, you got to protect the football. It's something they have to address.
After the penalty, a 1st and 15. Coming near side to Gordon. Incomplete. He can't get his hands on it. We showed you, coming into the half about T.Y. Hilton being quiet. Well, how about Gordon? I mean, they targeted him 29 times the last 2 games, but he's been pretty quiet today.
And Greg Toller says, Joe Hayden, anything you can do, I can do as well. He becomes the #1 with Vontae Davis out. Press coverage. Remember, Chuck Pagano, Mike Pettin came from the same family in terms of coaching in Baltimore, so they play very similar style defenses.
Second and 15, pitch to West, and DeQuell Jackson wraps him up after a short gain. You're looking at a 3rd down and long coming up as the Browns try to take advantage of the turnover.
DeQuell Jackson was an outstanding off-season pickup for Ryan Grigson, the general manager of the Colts. You know, he's done such a great job drafting guys like T.Y. Hilton, like Dante Moncrief, but then to make an off-season acquisition to solidify the interior of your defense with DeQuell Jackson, you can see him line that defense up. They're very multiple. He gets everyone lined up, and he's a great player to boot.
He's got a game-high 7 tackles. Here on 3rd down, Hoyer, a lot of time. He can run if he wants it. Looking to throw. Now he's got to run, and he's not going to get very, very far. Sean Phillips, the veteran who they just picked up, makes the tackle.
Good coverage down the field, which causes Hoyer to have to leave the pocket to try to make something happen. And Sean Phillips, the guy they picked up, we were talking to Ryan Grigson before the game. You see the coverage, and Sean Phillips, they told us he would play. He didn't in the first half. Now he's out there, and he's played a lot of football as Sean Phillips, and he pays dividends, the pickup, when he was released by the Tennessee Titans.
And the Colts hold. They cannot take advantage, and they're not going to try a long field goal here. They're going to punt. At least that's the formation they bring out, with Lanning coming out. A 4th and 8. They'll take the delay. This is fascinating to me because when you look at it right now, it's breezy on the field.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
But the wind's not a factor. And when you're set up, would it be a long field goal? Yeah, it would. It'd be 55, 56 yards. Cundiff A has been not anywhere close to good at 50 yards plus in his career, but he also pushed a 40-yarder.
Not a ton of confidence.
Yeah. And so the punts. What's it like to be a punter with the rush coming at you? Looks like that. Cribbs will let it go over his head, and that's a bad move. Marlon Moore downs it at the 1. A couple times today, Cribbs has let it go over his head, and that time he pays for it. Indy defense, though, does the job and picks up their offense. They still trail it by 7. Backed up on their own 1, trailing 14-7 in the 3rd. And Richardson not going to get much. Here's Joe Hayden, who forced the fumble earlier, even though the Browns couldn't capitalize. Interception the last 3 games. The guy has been flat out phenomenal.
He's telling him, here comes the safety. He's trying to do it all for the Cleveland Browns.
They already have a forced fumble and a recovery in the end zone for a touchdown today on defense. Second and 7. Richardson's got it. And Trent Richardson has a run that should have a first down. Pushed backward, but his forward progress should take him to a first down, and it does. So that's a positive for Richardson. And That's one thing that hasn't panned out. You talk about Ryan Grigson. He's done a great job putting this team together, but trading a 2014 first-round pick for Richardson, it just hasn't worked.
You know, and I'll say this, that the folks that drafted him here in Cleveland, Grigson, they weren't the only ones who believed in this guy. Everyone thought he was going to be a star. He has everything you want. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. It just hasn't panned out for Trent Richardson, and it's really been a struggle. I know he wants to play better than ever here coming back to Cleveland. He was vocal about that. We will see.
Luck to throw. Got a lot of time coming for Fleener, knocked away. They had Buster screen the cornerback on Fleener. Gives you an idea of the speed of Fleener. And it's incomplete.
And Buster Screen twice now has done an excellent job on Fleener. You see the move, the separation, but there's the speed. I was talking to Joe Hayden on the field before the game. Said, how fast is Screen? He said, how about 4.2? Fastest guy on the team, along with Travis Benjamin, the wide receiver, and he showed that speed right there.
4 down, Ricky. Ricky, 53.
On 2nd and 10, here comes the blitz. Picked up, Luck hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Gilbert, the rookie, looking to take it in, and a touchdown. There's your 8th overall pick, cashing in. And for Gilbert, his first NFL interception goes for 6.
Well, it's Ataba Rubin, but watch Screen right there coming with the pressure. Ataba Rubin comes off, affects that throw. But Justin Gilbert, an outstanding. That's called a trap coverage. He's waiting for him to break out. He breaks out, and the rookie, who frankly has been a disappointment for the Cleveland Browns, says not anymore. Justin Gilbert making a huge play when they needed it.
Wow. He hasn't even played that much in recent weeks, but he comes up with his finest play of the season. 2 defensive touchdowns for Cleveland against Andrew Luck and the #1 offense here. Justin Gilbert taking it home from 21 yards out, and it's Cleveland up by 2 touchdowns. Cleveland Browns playing a lot of defense today, and Justin Gilbert, who they took 8th overall, they traded up to get him. He has been a disappointment. He hasn't played as much. He was inactive last week. Well, his first interception in this league, his first touchdown in this league, and it's 21-7. Here's Josh Cribbs, who's got room on the left side, and Cribbs with a great return out to the 37.
And this is awesome, Kevin. Here's the trap, and here's why he can trap. He's got Jim Leonard coming over the top. All he's looking is for anything out, and then here comes that trap, and he's just waiting. And there's the mousetrap. Justin Gilbert goes and gets it. Andrew Luck never sees him because he thinks he's in 3 deep. Justin Gilbert executes it to perfection. Dante Whitner talked about late movement for Andrew Luck. They thought it was something, as good a quarterback as he is, that he struggled with. Late movement in the coverage. You saw the late movement, and it paid off.
He had 12 interceptions and 2 touchdowns at Oklahoma State.
Rex.
Now the Browns, whose defense has been splendid, up 2 scores on Andrew Luck. Coming to Hilton, who makes the grab. Screen on him that time, makes the tackle, but Hilton is going to pick up a first down to the 47, gain to 13.
And Kevin, a lot of teams, you get up 14 at this point in the game over. Not so fast with Andrew Luck. They can score in bunches. We saw it against the Chiefs in last year's playoffs. They can score and score in a hurry.
Yeah, they're doing 28 in the wild card of the Chiefs. A lot of people turn their sets off. Luck going up top, going deep, and it's incomplete. It was screened with good coverage on Hilton.
See, T.Y. Hilton, another adjustment. Put him on the inside. That typically gets bump off you. He doesn't like that hand on him. He feels like he's being helped. I think he's got a point, but Screen's getting away with it, and so he'll do it.
Well, Clete Blakeman's crew, they let you play a little bit. They are least in the league in penalties, and so that really favors the Browns.
Yeah, load.
On a 2nd down. All kinds of time for Luck, who's going to sling it way over the head of Dwayne Allen incomplete. Game break. Let's check in with Kurt.
All right, Browns fans don't often root for the Steelers, but they are right now, I'm sure. Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell making them cheer. Little touchdown catch, 10-yard score. Steelers up 17-14 over division-leading Bengals. Kevin, John, man.
So the Steelers in front. That's a good one. Here are the Colts today, 1 of 8 on 3rd down, and that one was the touchdown run by Luck.
And this is something that Andrew Luck, third-rated passer in the NFL on 3rd down, behind only Rodgers and Peyton Manning. So came in as a strength. The Browns have taken away that strength.
They just get the play off. Here comes Kruger, and Luck is buried, and a flag. They might get Kruger here, leading with the helmet. It's got to be that.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 99. Blow to the head, leading with the head in the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Here's the Paul Kruger coming off that edge, and there is helmet contact. Helmet to helmet. That's tough for Paul Kruger, but any part of that helmet goes to the helmet of the quarterback. They're going to call it every time. Gosder Cherilus, the right tackle, was complaining that Kruger jumped the snap to the start, but Clete Blakeman on it. Don't necessarily like the call, but I think Clete Blakeman, under the rules as they are in today's football, made the right call.
You know, and you see Kruger tried to just kind of get the hands out to prevent it, but his momentum didn't allow. It's a huge play. Instead of making another Colts punt, here they are with a first down at the 32. Here's Herring, and this one is not going to get off in time. Delay a game, I believe, on Indy.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Kevin, as a guy who maybe got myself in a couple of these positions in my career, I can tell you what Kruger's thinking right there as he's going. You say leading with the head. Well, what you're doing, you're saying, I can't hit the head, I can't hit the head, so your head goes down, and it's exactly what you do, the crown of your head. So it's you can't win, but it's just the league as we know it today, with all the emphasis on safety, particularly at the quarterback position.
1st and 15 after the penalty. They give it to Herring, running left side, eludes one tackle. Cleveland played it really well. Robertson has had a good day making the tackle.
I want you to watch Dante Whitner. This fires me up. Watch him come from depth and enjoy this. He sees it, and boom. He misses the tackle, but he makes that tackle by the aggressiveness that he played. And that's why they brought Dante Whitner. Not because he's from Cleveland, because he plays the safety position like that. That's why they brought him back.
And he is excited to be here. He actually was at the game in 1999, the first game the Browns returned to Cleveland. Luck on 2nd down to throw it. Step up, going to look to run, and there's Robertson again. Guy's been everywhere today. That's his 6th tackle. He's got a touchdown. He's got a pass knocked away. A nice afternoon for Craig Robertson, a third-year man from North Texas.
Great coverage again. Joe Hayden doing a tremendous job on T.Y. Hilton, one of the better receivers in the league. Screen inside on Moncrief. Andrew Luck's got nowhere to throw. You see Justin Gilbert gaining confidence on Hakeem Nicks. Craig Robertson bringing down Andrew Luck.
And give him credit, he's playing for Carlos Dansby, the injured veteran. He's done a really nice job at 31 tackles the last 3 weeks. On 3rd and 10, delayed pressure coming. Luck going far side, incomplete. Hakeem Nicks, and there's Joe Hayden again. Why not?
Tell you, good coverage by Joe Hayden. That's a ball Hakeem Nicks has to make. Now, that's a well-thrown football. Get out of that break and catch that ball. He didn't come out of that break with any explosion. Andrew threw it exactly where he should. And Hakeem Nicks fails to get out of the break. Joe Hayden continues to cover these Colts receivers.
This will be a 51-yard try from Adam Vinatieri. He hasn't missed this year. Vinatieri is ageless. He remains perfect. That one was perfect. And so the Colts get a little bit closer, but Cleveland, even after the penalty, holds them to a field goal. It's still the Browns in front. So the Colts do get a field goal after that 7-play drive. Adam Vinatieri Well, he's automatic. He hasn't missed this year. 51-yard field goal, no problem. And the kick. Benjamin. And he's shoved out of bounds. This week, Fox brings you the biggest fight card in broadcast TV history. Junior Dos Santos taking on Stipe Miocic plus Rafael Dos Anjos battling Nate Diaz and a whole lot more. A two-night UFC event beginning Friday with the Ultimate Fighter finale on Fox Sports 1. Continuing Saturday with the UFC Fight Night on Fox. And the comparison with the quarterbacks today. Neither have been particularly sharp. Hoyer led a great drive in the second quarter, and Luck has been way off what you usually expect from him. But Cleveland's D has been the reason.
Oh, they've been phenomenal. I mean, you're keeping Andrew Luck, who's a 64% passer coming in today, far south of 50%, doing an excellent job.
Give to Crowell, and not much doing on that play. How about, let's kind of go back to the field goal for a second. Adam Vinatieri, John, it's worth mentioning. And the guy, 41 years old, 19th year from South Dakota State. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
I mean, I certainly think so. It's hard to get in as a kicker, but, you know, Ray Guy waited a long time, and I think he rightly got in. This guy, I don't think there should be much of an argument. His postseason success is just phenomenal.
Hey, nice to have that as a luxury. Crowell again, nowhere. So a couple runs, and that's going to bring up a third down and long. This Colts defense has done just fine today. Certainly not their fault. 2 defensive touchdowns behind Greg Minuski. And let me tell you, you have a meeting with him and you come out dying laughing. He's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet.
He's a tremendous defensive coordinator, doing a great job with not a lot of star players on this defense, and a stand-up comedian to go along with that.
Former linebacker for the Redskins, Vikings, Kansas City. Hoyer on third down. Benjamin, did he catch it? No, incomplete. Gordy was on the coverage, and 3 and out for Cleveland.
Well, Gordy does a great job. We saw it earlier from Joe Hayden finishing the play. It looks like a catch, but Gordy comes in with violent hands and strips that ball. Gordy filling in for Vontae Davis, and does so very well right there.
You know, it seems to be noted here. It's 21-10 Cleveland. But I just feel like they're going to need more points in this one today, as well as their defense is playing. Lanning going to punt it away to Cribbs. Cribbs can return it. Takes it from the 38. Looking for a hole. Good coverage. Good special team coverage by the Browns all day. Marlon Moore was there first. It's been Cleveland defense. That's the story here today. Defense scoring twice. Gilbert, the rookie, delivered the last one, and they're up here from Cleveland. First and 10.
Now he says, I'll take Reggie Wayne. Not enough of T.Y. Hilton. Let me try someone else.
Meanwhile, as you noted earlier, they put Hilton in motion just to try and get him open here. On the fake. Luck with time now. Some pressure. Steps up on the run. Wayne incomplete. Hey, Joe Hayden, why don't you be on every single play? What a game.
You know, I got to tell you, you watch a great corner play. First of all, you got to want that matchup. And Joe Hayden says, give me any of them. I'll take them. You see the tight, and then watch the finish again. The long arms, he gets it. That left hand in front of the football, has the right hand, but doesn't restrict Reggie Wayne. This guy's playing some football. And I tell you, everyone in the Browns building said, John, we think he's as good as anyone. As I said earlier, the more I watch, the more this man has a lot of credence in that claim.
Looking that way, it's Hilton against Hayden. Hilton makes the catch, but he's going to be wrapped up shy of a first down. You talked about Wayne. He's got, what, 82 games in a row where he's got not 1 catch, but 3 catches. He doesn't have a catch today.
I think this speaks to how much confidence Andrew Luck has in T.Y. Hilton, as well as Joe Hayden's playing. Guess what, Joe? I'm still coming after you. That's Andrew Luck's attitude.
3rd and 1. Richardson in the game at tailback. Now Luck may be changing the play. Richardson on 3rd and 1 has the first. It's the second time today they've converted on third down out of 10 tries.
It was a great job by Andrew Luck directing traffic. The Browns were loaded for bear. Everyone inside. Watch all these bodies in the inside. He first tries to draw them, but then he changes it to the outside run because he sees all that traffic in the middle. He says, let's not run into the wall. Let's go where they aren't. And they do a good job of doing just that.
This does not look like a good injury. Joe Wrights, who is starting at right guard today for their normal starter, Hugh Thornton, who's out with a knee injury, and Wrights went down and pounded the turf very, very hard. 76.
There he is right here. His own man comes on that left knee and ankle. Ugh. Never like to see that, but I'll tell you more. You know, you hate to see the injury, but the Colts now are out of offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Khalid Holmes comes in. They don't have another backup. Shipley already went in for Jonathan Harrison. So anyone else gets hurt, a tight end's going to have to play offensive line because they're out.
And that's something you never want. So they're really depleted on the offensive line. Meanwhile, we have a moment. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Bengals and Steelers keep going back and forth in a big game in the AFC North. A.J. Green wide open on this play. Andy Dalton finds him. 81 yards on the score. Listen to this number for Green. 10 catches, 203 yards, and they're just starting the fourth quarter. That's a career high for him. Cincy up 21-17. Kevin, John, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, thanks. Meanwhile, just a really tough scene for Joe Wrights. They're bringing out the carts. Fourth-year man from Western Michigan, has played right tackle, has played right guard, has been a valuable guy, and that's just hard to see. And we've talked a lot about Joe Hayden, and you were speaking with him. Right now he's sitting next to that guy, Aaron Glenn, who was a great cornerback.
I got to tell you, Kevin, all week long I'm sitting home like I always do watching my film. And one of the first notes I made as I watched the Cleveland defensive backs, someone's coaching these guys right. And Jeff Hafley's the DB coach, but the assistant DB coach is Aaron Glenn, who was one of the great bump and run corners of my generation. And I don't think it's any surprise. And I talked to Joe Hayden, and he talked about how much that Aaron Glenn has taught him about the art of bump and run coverage. And what they do better than anybody, they get their hands on people. I should say the Seattle Seahawks do it quite well, as do the New England Patriots.
And so number 62, Khalid Holmes, is now the new right guard. The Colts are out of offensive linemen. They've lost 2 here today. Incomplete, just throwing at the feet of Herron. And this Browns defense has done a job getting pressure on Andrew Luck. And now you already were down 1 starter. You're down 3 starters on the offensive line.
And you know what that means. What coaches do in this league, you attack weaknesses or perceived weakness. You're hurt on the offensive line. Here comes the pressure. As well as their corners are covering, here comes the pressure.
A little different between last week against Washington, that's for sure. In that game, the Colts had 6 touchdowns at 30 yards or more. Only scored once today. On second down, blocked up well for Luck. He's got a lot of time, and Moncrief can't make the play. Dante Moncrief in a monster game. Joe Hayden on the coverage, but should have hauled that one in.
Yeah, Joe Hayden's having a tremendous game, but that was on Moncrief. That's a catchable ball, and one the rookie has to catch. Watch him come cross-country all the way across the formation. Fabulous throw by Luck. Ball's got to be caught.
3rd and 10.
See that amoeba defense all over is that front of the Browns.
Pressure coming. Luck unloads it for Hilton. What an adjustment! And the catch by Hilton. Touchdown! And that time he beat Joe Hayden. 42 yards. What a big play on 3rd and 10.
It's the life of the defensive back. You can be having the greatest game ever, and you see at the line of scrimmage, T.Y. Hilton got him. Hayden got on his heels, no hands on Hilton, gave him the free release, and then the adjustment, the body control that T.Y. Hilton has. Again, the trust Andrew Luck has in T.Y. Hilton to go after Joe Hayden. Tremendous execution by the Colts. We talked about their ability to score and score in a hurry. They just did.
And they're going to go for 2 to try and make it a field goal game. We're still here early with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Colts 0 for 1 on 2-point tries this year. Luck looking, and that's intercepted. Jim Leonard with the interception of the 2-point conversion. Interesting going for it there in the third quarter of the 2-pointer. It almost tells you that Chuck Pagano realizes how tough this Cleveland D is.
Yeah, I get it. They all have this chart and all that. You know, it makes it a 3-point game, and you got Vinatieri. But I just think it's awful early to be doing that. I always like taking the points. What a play by T.Y. Hilton. And that's the one thing he shows over and over. He's only 5'9", but he wins all these 50-50 balls. And Andrew Luck, Jim Leonard just sat there and duped him. It looked like he was going out on Trent Richardson. Instead, sat there and baited Andrew Luck into the interception, or the, what do you call that? It's not technically an interception.
Yeah, I
guess it's a failed 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I guess a mistry. How about that? You know, T.Y. He had a great quote. Pam Oliver asked him in our meeting with him the other day about his height. He's not a big guy. He's 5'9", 178 pounds, right? And when you see him in person, without the pads, he doesn't strike you as a guy that would strike fear. And he said, have the heart that I have. You can't measure that.
Heart, not height.
That's for sure. All right. So here's Benjamin. And now the Colts, and Benjamin is going to be hit shy of the 15-yard line.
And Kevin, here's why you got to worry about the Indianapolis Colts and scoring in a bunch, because they can hang them on you in a hurry. You can be playing them great. Here's what they did to Washington. I mean, it was a fireworks show. Andrew Luck, Fleener all over the field. Moncrief, T.Y. Hilton. They got so many weapons, and then they got the guy as the trigger man in Andrew Luck. That leads to a lot of celebrations in Indy.
That was an unbelievable game last week where they're airing it out all over the field. And the last time that happened was all the way back with the Redskins in '66. Sonny Jurgensen and company put up 7 touchdowns and put up 72 points against the Giants. Now Hoyer's going to go deep. He's looking for Gordon, and he overshot him. Hoyer's had 2 deep today that he's missed.
He missed Gabriel early, and here is another touchdown if Hoyer hits it. And in talking to Kyle Shanahan, this is one of the things, and in watching the film, that he does best. The deep ball is something that Brian Hoyer has thrown exceptionally well this year. He's been off on it today, and those are the missed opportunities that will bite you against a team like the Colts.
Still so much time left in the game as Johnny Manziel waits and wonders if he'll get a chance today. They sling it out and looking for a little screenplay, and it's Gabriel that time who makes the catch. The rookie speedster for Abilene Christian came in today averaging 18 yards per catch. Only Deshaun Jackson was better in the league.
It's one thing, Kevin, the more you watch these Cleveland Browns, you got a lot of rookies contributing, and so I think the future's bright. You know, you got to find that quarterback. Is it Manziel? Is it Hoyer? That will sort itself out, but you've got a lot of positive and bright spots on this roster. Ray Farmer, the general manager, Mike Pettin, have done a nice job of putting together this roster.
On third down, Hoyer looking over the middle, and that is not going to be enough for a first down. It's Andrew Hawkins, their slot receiver, with the team in receptions coming in, and some boo birds with the Browns having to punt. Guys, you're winning the game.
they're winning the game, but these fans are smart here in Cleveland. They know their football, and they know the Colts are starting to heat up, and so they don't like the short throw on third down.
Spencer Lanning will punt it away on a 4th and 3. Short kick. Cribb's going to let it bounce, and it takes a favorable bounce for Indianapolis. Not a good punt at all, and the Colts with great field position. AFC North, it's now the Bengals in front of the Steelers, 21-20. What a game in Miami. Ravens up by the Dolphins 14-13. And you see that division so tight. Browns, that's why today is really a must-win for them. You talked about it. And not only the division, but the wild card. There's 6 teams of the same record.
Yeah, really, the way to the playoffs in the North, you got to win the division because that wild card spot's going to be tough to get.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide today. Some clear shots as we take you right onto the field. Behind Andrew Luck, his Colts trail by 5.
Ricky!
Now the Steelers, by the way, just went ahead in their game. Pump fake. Luck over the middle, incomplete. And now we get a flag. That time it was Hayden on Wayne. The flag, though, from across the field. Sure, it's on them. On Hayden, I should say. But it might be on Cleveland.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 22. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down, Indianapolis.
And screen was working on T.Y. Hilton. Their screen going a little crossing route, and when T.Y. Hilton tries to go back outside, screen's got a handful of jersey. Nice job by Blakeman's crew on top of it.
The Browns have the most offensive holding calls in the league. That's their 16th of the year. Richardson on the draw. And he gets down to the 41. It's really rare you get to a game when there's 2 minutes left in the third quarter and Reggie Wayne doesn't have a catch. Told you 82 in a row where he's had 3 catches, let alone 1.
He had his hands on a couple, and we pointed it out. So uncharacteristically dropped 2 early in this game. Hasn't had opportunity since.
Low. Apple.
Second down and 4. Luck coming near side. It's Moncrief who's got it. And he should have enough for a first down. We get a penalty way down the field on the opposite side. Let's see what the call is. Lee Blakeman's done a nice job with his crew today.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 58. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is enough for a first down.
Chris Kirksey got caught for the hold. And here's Kirksey working against Kobe Fleener, who makes a lot of people want to hold the way he's been playing of late. And Kevin, you mentioned all the defensive holdings, and that's part of when you get your hands on people, you're going to get a lot of defensive holdings, and that's what they do. And I think they're willing to live with some of those.
First and 10 for Indianapolis at the 37. Richardson still in the game, and Richardson is going to work his way down inside the 32. He's going to pick up 5 yards. And John, for as well as this game has gone for Cleveland, defense playing well, 2 defensive touchdowns. It's a 5-point game, and the Colts are driving here. I said it a while ago. At some point, the Browns are going to need something from their offense.
No doubt about it. They're going to have to have more points on this board with this offense from Indianapolis.
But still, the Browns in front. Luck. He's got a year to throw the ball. Now he's going to run away, and he's going to hit Hilton again, who's got a big play and a first down. So T.Y. Hilton, which only had a catch at the break, now has 5 catches and a touchdown in this second half, and he's up to 96 yards.
You know, and one thing that's transpired, for whatever reason, they made a switch, and Joe Hayden's been covering Reggie Wayne of late. They put screen on Hilton. Hilton's heating up. I would take Joe Hayden, who's your best corner, and I'd put him on their best receiver, who is T.Y. Hilton.
And now Hayden is on Moncrief, bottom of your screen. And Luck looking right at Hilton. Going for the end zone, going for it all, knocked away. It was Gilbert, the rookie, who was on him. I'm with you.
Andrew Luck sees the same thing, and that's why he went after. It wasn't screen this time, it was Gilbert.
Ooh.
And uncharacteristic. I think Gilbert just gets maybe a fingertip, at least distracts Hilton, but you see Hilton, he expects himself to catch that ball. Can't throw it any better.
And not an easy catch. He may have gotten a finger on it in hand there, but that's a touchdown. I don't think he got it.
Here's Joe Hayden back on T.Y. Hilton. I think Jim O'Neill got smart, the defensive coordinator.
Right there.
Second and 10, give to Herring. Spin move up inside the 15 that would take us to the end of the third quarter. It's a Browns 5-point lead thanks to 2 touchdowns from their defense, but the Colts on the move at the 15 when we start the fourth from Cleveland. Well, the momentum in this game has totally changed. I mean, Cleveland with the second defensive touchdown, the interception returned by Gilbert looked like they had it in hand, but the Colts offense has come alive. They possessed it for almost 10 minutes in the third quarter. Now who's 3rd and 8?
That's one.
As we start the fourth, Colts down by 5.
Come.
Pressure picked up. Luck throwing end zone, knocked away. Screen that time was on Hilton, and the Colts will settle for a field goal try.
Despite all that momentum, that was a monumental play in this game because you got a 5-point lead. So field goal doesn't kill you. Screen. There's that speed. You can't teach speed. Buster Screen has it, and he closed on that football.
This will be a 33-yard try for Adam Vinatieri. His 9th year with the Colts. And a little line drive that got through, and Vinatieri remains perfect, 27 of 27 on the year. But the defense does their job, and the Browns still hold on to the lead, but it's shrinking here in Cleveland. So the lead for the Browns is trimmed down to 2 points, and keep this in mind. Remember, the Colts went for 2 on the last touchdown. So if the the Browns were to score a touchdown, it's not a one-possession game. That could be big here. Right now, though, it's just a 2-point lead for the Browns, and they'll start on their own 20. For Brian Hoyer, who will come out, and now he's got some pressure on him. He's not had a particularly great game. 10 of 22, 106 yards and an interception. And John, I go back to meeting with Joe Thomas, who made it pretty clear to us that that was the decision that he thought was the right one, to keep Hoyer as the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, they looked at it from every angle. They watched the film. There was no doubt that Johnny Manziel brought life, brought energy, and picked up this team on this game score on his touchdown drive last week. But they made the decision to go with Hoyer. It had the support of the veterans like Joe Thomas, like Dante Whitner. They're still riding with them here in the fourth quarter.
And it's still the Browns in front, but they need some points where the Colts have woken up on offense. Crowell on the cutback. He's going to pick up 3. When you talked to Thomas, he said, the immediate reaction was they were giving up on the season. And that was, he made it clear it was not knocking Manziel, but it's just like, look, Joe Thomas has been here for 7 years. And he's had 5 different head coaches, John, and he hasn't sniffed a playoff run. So he's the guy, he just wants to get to the postseason.
He was giddy the other day talking about playing meaningful games in December, how fun it is. And when a guy takes that much pride in his job, you love to see the success.
Good catch and an adjustment by the tight end Cameron there, and that will be enough for a first down.
Now here's what these big tight ends bring you. It's not a well-thrown football, but it's a completion. That's what it will show up in the stats book. Inaccurate throw, really. Jordan Cameron goes down and gets it with those big mitts of his. Freeman says, how do you do that?
Good to have Cameron back, that's for sure. Crowell just meandering his way for a 3-yard gain. Browns have stuck with the run. They've run it 27 times for 107 yards. That and their defense, the reason why they're in the lead.
Josh Gordon up at the top of your screen. He's only 2 catches on the day. There's Josh Gordon, both in the first quarter.
Fake the run. Hoyer on the roll, and he's looking for Jim Dre, and he's got it. That's going to be a short game. It's kind of surprising, right? I mean, Vontae Davis, the Colts' best defensive player, their cornerback, out. We were talking coming here. We kind of thought Gordon could have a big day today.
You think you'd be going after. I mean, last week, Vontae Davis went out. Colt McCoy was very smart. He went after Gordy. He got a 42-yard touchdown, and he got a PI that was big going right after him. I expected that today. We haven't seen it. I think some of it is because Hoyer's been prone to the interceptions of late. Not a ton of confidence throwing the ball up.
Browns are 4 and 12 on 3rd down today. 4-man rush picked up near side, incomplete. Browns want a penalty. Greg Toller, who was on the coverage.
We talked about it earlier. Accuracy, you have to be able to hit this pass, at least give Cameron. You talk about the mismatches, the size differential that Cameron has, you have to give him a chance. Hoyer did not right there, and the fans responding accordingly with the boos.
Now it's Josh Cribbs, and the Colts will get the ball back with a chance to take the lead. Lanning did not have a good punt his last attempt. Cribbs has not had a good day returning the football. This one's a beauty. Back to the 10 is Cribbs, and he is taken down immediately by Marlon Moore, and he fumbled, and I think the Colts got it back. Marlon Moore, have yourself a day on special teams. Watch this. Boom! Colts backed up. Athletes grew up playing communities all across America. Now through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. Learn how NFL stars played as kids. Find great play ideas. Visit NFLrush.com/play60. And the dog pound is getting loud in Cleveland. 21-19. Browns up by 2. Colts football backed up at the 8 after another tremendous special teams play by Marlon Moore. Here's Luck. Coming to T.Y. Hilton, who's out across the 20, and he's over 100 yards for the day.
You go back to why the Colts are backed up. Watch Marlon Moore. That's just pure speed, determination. And as you say, Kevin, boom. Josh Gordy, at least if you're going to get beat, recover the fumble. He did that.
I'd say that could have been a disaster. It's also the 4th time that the Colts have fumbled today. And they recovered a couple of them, but they got lucky there on 1st down. Luck bobbled. Hilton catches. Remember when T.Y. Hilton, John, had a catch at the half? Well, he's got 8 for $116 now.
Changed in a hurry, and that's what we were warning you of. I mean, look at this team is explosive, and it's because of the quarterback and in large part because of that man, T.Y. Hilton. As he says, not the height, the heart. Can't measure that hard, and he's got a huge, huge heart.
Give to Aaron. Good run. And a 1st down for Indianapolis. Think about this, too, for Indianapolis. How about the offensive line? They lost their center, Harrison. Thornton was already hurt coming in, and the guy replacing him, Wrights, got carted off. They're down 3 starting offensive linemen. 2 of them got hurt today. They're doing a nice job. Got no offensive lineman left. Luck to throw, and he's got a completion across the 40. And that is Reggie Wayne who makes the catch. And Reggie Wayne today, John, his 208th game, the most in Colts history, tying Peyton Manning. What a career.
What a career is right. I competed against him a lot, and I would tell you this about him. He played with Marvin Harrison, but one of the greatest competitors that I ever played against. Fabulous, fabulous career, and he's still going at a nice level.
2nd and 5. Pressure. Luck slips away in high. Intercepted. Intercept by the Browns, and Jim Leonard with room to run. Leonard inside the 25. And the 4th turnover of the day for this Browns defense.
See Andrew Luck. He's going to elude the pressure of Barkevius Mingo. He's going to move out to his right, eyes downfield, just a little bit high to T.Y. Hilton. The ball goes off his hands, and Jim Leonard tips and overthrows in this league. Lead to interceptions. That's exactly what Jim Leonard, he just brings it in. Jim Leonard, who's been with Mike Pettin for a long time, brings it in.
Pitch out, West. And he's going to go backwards. And this is an enormous possession right now. I mean, if the Browns score a touchdown, it's a 2-possession game, even with a 2-point conversion.
In so many ways, too, Kevin, because, you know, we've been talking about they don't have a lot of confidence in their kicker right now either. So you want to score a touchdown. If not, you need Cundiff to come through in a big way.
Look at that defense by Cleveland today. And they came in a good defense, and I think an underrated defense in some ways. But they've had a terrific game against the league's best offense. Up by 2, looking for more, 9.5 to play. Pistol formation. Hoyer rolls, throwing, and a dangerous throw, and that's going to be down. Darius Butler came over. Hawkins made the catch, but that was close. And it's a short game when it's all said and done.
Boy, football's fun to watch because Darius Butler, what a close. I mean, he's like out of a rocket launcher. Darius Butler almost picks that ball. Good call by the officials. Left knee down. Darius Butler with a tremendous close on that ball.
As soon as he threw that ball, you saw the break, and you're thinking, oh boy. But he got there. Now a 3rd down and 8. Like to welcome those of you who watched the Rams shut out Washington. Here it's the Browns by 2 after an interception. A big 3rd down. Hoyer hit as he throws. Incomplete. He was looking for the play with Hawkins. No penalty, and again the coverage was good. It was Butler.
I circled that because they were showing pressure. Sometimes they bluff out. They brought the pressure, and Darius Butler, fabulous coverage. Gets that right hand in there. The Browns fans want a PI. I think a good no call. Darius Butler. And Mike Pettin doesn't agree with me.
Billy Cundiff missed a 40-yarder earlier, and it wasn't close. This is a 39-yarder to make it a 5-point game. This one is true. And so Cundiff adding a 39-yard field goal. They take advantage of the interception, but the Indy defense does their job. Browns by 5. Oh, there are the quarterbacks. Manziel has not played, has not taken off the jacket after all the controversy and the talk this week. But Mike Pettin sticking with Brian Hoyer on the left. Hoyer 13 of 27, 120 yards and an interception. He hasn't been sharp, but the Cleveland defense has been more than sharp. That's why they're winning this game. But it was Indianapolis defense that held after that interception return by Leonard. And so it's a 5-point game. Here's Cribbs taking it out. And Cribbs is out to the 24. This is why the Browns are winning this game, John. It's all about the defense. And here's the sack and the forced fumble. The touchdown by Robertson, and it went on from there.
Well, it's been a combination of great coverage on the outside and great pressure on the inside, showing Andrew Luck, who's a tough quarterback to confuse. A lot of different looks. It's been working, and then they've been opportunistic. Jim Leonard with the big interception that led to that last field goal.
2 defensive touchdowns today. Special teams, other than the missed field goal, as far as coverage goes, have been fantastic for Cleveland. The Colts have not had really good field position to start all day long. A lot of time for Luck, and he's got a man wide open. It is T.Y. Hilton. How did he get so open that time? And he's inside the 45. They mark him down at the 43. It's a pickup of 33.
Well, there's these bunch formations. Look at all that traffic. Kobe Fleener runs. He's not picking. Hayden runs into his own man. Andrew Luck sees the opening, and T.Y. Hilton has a bunch of speed. Big play for the Indianapolis Colts. And T.Y. Hilton, say something you say quite often with Andrew Luck throws to T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton, by the way, has 8 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown in the second half. 149 total on the day. Just 1 catch in the first half. Luck back. All kinds of time. Looks to unleash one, and it's dropped. Another drop by Reggie Wayne. That's his 3rd of the day.
Reggie Wayne has some of the best hands this game's ever seen, and he's had 3 drops today. He turns around the rookie, Justin Gilbert. Can't throw it any better. Reggie Wayne struggling to catch the ball today.
Wow. You just don't see that. And so a 2nd down and 10 coming on up. Again, they do put Hayden on T.Y. Hilton, but Hilton has exploded in the second half. There they are. Thanks, John. Luck pressure, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Desmond Bryant, who helped cause a fumble earlier in the game, he's had good pressure today.
Watch Desmond Bryant. He's going to be working against the left guard. Jack Newhart beats him running a little TE game, but Desmond Bryant takes down Andrew Luck.
Third and 10. Andrew Luck passing on third down today, just 1 of 9. This is the third best quarterback in the league on third down coming in. Blitz. Luck in trouble, and down he goes. Jim Leonard.
They talked about late movement. Watch Jimmy Leonard. Late movement coming off the edge. Trent Richardson's got to pick him up. That's Trent Richardson's man. That should be accounted for. Trent Richardson with the miss. Jim Leonard says thank you very much.
Just the second sack of the day, but Cleveland's had good pressure on Luck. Leonard with a biggie on third down, and they'll punt it away. Now it's Leonard back to receive the punt. What can Jim Leonard not do? Interception, sack, and now 6:43 to go. I'd like to welcome those of you who just joined us here in Cleveland. Along with Pam Oliver down on the field, John Lynch, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. It's been all defense for the Browns today. 2 defensive touchdowns. They've got 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. They've done a wonderful job against the Colts' #1 offense. At least it was coming in.
And you still have a lot of time left, though. We keep going back to Brian Hoyer. Here's his opportunity. 10-5 as a Brown starter, but none bigger than this game. 6:43 left. You got an explosive offense on the other side. Your defense is doing a great job. You need first downs here. You need points.
They're going to run it. Crowell has got it, and Crowell has got 1.5 yards. Well, the second half, we have seen some points, though, that's for sure. Started with the Justin Gilbert first career interception, 8th overall pick, returned it for a touchdown. But then T.Y. Hilton got in the mix. 1 catch in the first half. He's gone nuts in the second half. Leonard with the interception, and that led to a field goal. And then Jim Leonard coming with the sack. Had to show him twice. He's already Kemner's guy, our director. The veteran Leonard's been around. He's been in this Baltimore type defense with Mike Pettin for a long time. 2nd and 8. Pressure. Hoyer unloads far side, and he's got a completion. It was Hawkins making the catch. Butler on the coverage, but a first down.
Now this is a big-time throw. He hung in there as long as he could. The fake, but watch the pressure coming. He hung in there knowing he's going to take a hit and delivered a strike to Andrew Hawkins. All 5'7" of them outside. That was a tremendous play by Brian Hoyer.
And a good hookup. Hoyer now 14 of 28, 140 yards and a pick.
Interesting, Kevin, to see if the Colts challenged this. The catch there. He did not control it. Chuck Pagano going for his flag.
He puts it back in his back pocket. They don't challenge it. Crowell, left side, not much. Interesting call there.
Remember about controlling it through the process all the way. So you got 2 feet and then an act common to the game. Maybe that other step consists of that. So maybe that's not through the process. We'll have to ask Mike Pereira on that one. Mike Pereira says it is a catch in my ear. So thank you, Mike.
And Pagano then wisely holds the flag in there.
Maybe Mike's talking to Chuck Pagano.
Obviously on a time of factor. There's plenty of time left, but Brown's looking to chew up clock with 4:42 to go. 2nd and 9. We'll pitch out to West, and he gets hit immediately by Corey Redding. Corey Redding has been worth every cent of that 3-year, $10 million deal they gave him a few years ago.
Kevin, you mentioned earlier, I mean, you look at this Colts defense, came in today 23rd in the league, but what I like about them, in big moments, they seem to rise to the occasion, whether it be sudden change early with the slow starts to Andrew Luck and this offense, keeping them in the game. There's Greg Minuski. I think he's done a tremendous job. You lose Robert Mathis, the NFL sack leader last year, playing without your best corner. They've done a heck of a job.
3rd and 7. Need to get to the 45. Pressure coming. Hoyer unloads. Is it attached to Gordon? They say it is. They say that's a catch to Josh Gordon and a first down. We have an injured Brown back at the line. Let's watch the catch first.
There's Josh Gordon. He's been quiet today. Gets away with a little push off, but brings that football in. Greg Toller doesn't think so.
Pagano's going to challenge it.
I think he'll get this one. It looks like that ball hit the ground to me.
Chuck Pagano uses the challenge. And we'll take a look for you, and we'll look at it much more when we go to break, too. This is a big challenge by Chuck Pagano with the Browns up by 5. Mike Pereira in L.A. Mike, is this a catch?
No, I don't think it is. It looks like the ball slides right through the arms. And now watch the laces hit the ground right there before he clearly establishes control. And I think if you're in New York and you're looking for the definitive shot, that's the one that you see it sliding through his arm. So if it's me, I would reverse that to an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's a good replay. Now let's get the official call from Clete Blakeman.
After review of the play, the ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass. It brings up 4th down. Indianapolis will not be charged with a timeout. Please put 3 minutes and 56 seconds on the game clock. 3-5-6.
And Mike, that's the beautiful thing for us at Fox. You train Dean Blandino, so he sees things the same way you do.
Although sometimes I see his decisions, I'm not sure I trained him right. But anyway, yeah, you're right. I did train him.
Low blow, low blow.
Good stuff, Mike. Appreciate that. And that's a great challenge by Chuck Pagano, who hesitated a long before, rightfully so. And then on that 3rd down, reverses. And so Andrew Luck will get the ball back for the Colts offense. Spencer Lanning will punt it away. Cribbs backing up, good punts. Cribbs going to not take it again, and it bounces inside the 10. Those of you who watched the Giants and their 7-game losing streak and knock off the Titans 36-7, welcome to Cleveland. It's been defense for the Browns, 2 defensive touchdowns today. They've picked off Andrew Luck twice, and they've done a great job for the most part against this Colts offense. But with 3:46 to go, the Colts have the ball only down 5.
Last 5 possessions, you see punt, 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 field goal, and a punt. So the Colts defense doing their job. Now it's on Andrew Luck. They've heated up in this second half. The interception hurt him, but he's got all these weapons. The Browns defense has been terrific. This Colts offense puts so much pressure on the defense because you have to keep doing it. We'll see if they are up to the task.
And in that graphic, you showed the 1 field goal amidst all those punts. That's because Jim Leonard had an interception and returned it to field goal range.
And now they got Joe Hayden on T.Y. Hilton, which I think is smart. For whatever reason, they went away from that. They're back when it matters most.
5th time today the Colts have had a possession from their own 10 or inside the 10. They've been backed up all day. Blitz, Luck in trouble, and down he goes. Andrew Luck taken down by Barkevius Mingo, and a penalty from the far side of the field. Hang on.
Here's Mingo on the running back, Boom Herron. That's a mismatch. Can't ask your running back to block Mingo, who's in a 3-point stance. That's
there is
just
no
tough to do.
for offensive pass interference on the play because the quarterback was sacked. Brings up 2nd down.
I'll tell you what, Andrew Luck's lucky he didn't fumble that ball. Colts have fumbled 4 times today, and he was close. Mingo just missed it.
But we saw the rush. It was a great rush, but again, Joe Hayden had his hands all over T.Y. Hilton, so Andrew Luck wants to throw it. He can, and Barkevius Mingo beat Boom Herron quickly.
It's loud in Cleveland on a 2nd and 14. 4-man rush. Luck over the middle, hits Fleener, his tight end, and that's going to be a minimal gain, a 3rd and long coming up.
Screen's done a fabulous job on Kobe Fleener. I mean, Fleener last week, 4 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 3 weeks ago, 7 for 144 for New England. He's been on fire. Screen's done a nice job neutralizing him.
Third down and 7. Luck over the middle. Moncrief, what a catch! Still going. And he is down all the way at the 40. What a catch by the rookie Moncrief. out of Ole Miss.
You know what? And the wisdom for the rookie. What a catch. But most rookies forget. They think they're still in college and they're down. Instead, it's the veterans that do. He gets up and keeps running. Great play by Dante Moncrief. They know they have a find in Dante Moncrief.
That's 27 yards on a 3rd and long. Luck sliding along, going deep for Allen. Incomplete, and a flag. Dwayne Allen pumps his fist like it's going to be on Buster Screen, who can't believe it. So they try to get deep.
Pass interference, defense, number 22. Volley play to respond to the foul. First down, Indianapolis.
That left hand hanging on him is what the back judge saw. See, he's got a hold of that jersey. That restricted Allen's ability to get up and jump. And the thing for Screen, I don't think he needed to. He had great coverage, but he did, and the officials all over it.
He's done that a few times today, but it's gotten called now more in the second half. He had a holding before, and now that a 35-yard penalty. Now the Colts at the 25. Luck, too much time, throwing deep for T.Y. Hilton, incomplete. That time Screen comes back and makes a good play. And we have hit the 2-minute warning from Cleveland. Barn burner, it's the Browns by 5.
Here's December football. T.Y. Hilton, who played college ball at Florida International, playing in Cleveland. Look at that hand in the hand warmer to the last possible second. Buster Screen all over him in coverage. T.Y. Hilton, a fine receiver, keeping those hands warm.
Did he put his mouthpiece in while in motion?
He does a lot. It's unbelievable. Multitasker.
2nd and 10. Colts down by 5. Pressure. Luck couldn't release it. And incomplete. Boy, was that dangerous. He's looking for Fleener, but that was all kinds of messed up. And now a 3rd down and 10. And they need a touchdown. So it's 4-down territory here. As we welcome in those of you who watched the Lions get a victory today over Tampa Bay. Here it's 24-19 Browns. 2 defensive touchdowns. The Colts with a huge couple plays coming up. 3rd and 10.
4-down territory. So the thought process here might be get half of it. Get half of it because you need to set up your 4th down to be an advantageous situation.
Play clock at 1. Blitz coming over the middle, and it is complete to Fleener for a 1st down.
Or better yet, if you're Andrew, forget half of it. Let's go for all of it. And that's exactly what the Browns did. They brought all of it. 0 coverage, no safety in the middle. Whitner on Kobe Fleener. Kobe Fleener, who played with Andrew Luck at Stanford. That connection, been together for a long time, and they come through.
Minute 25 to play. Luck has time. Sliding right, throwing right, incomplete, just a little away from Hakeem Nicks.
If I'm Andrew Luck, right here, Hakeem Nicks just can't get there. Remember, Andrew Luck's legs are such an advantage for him. The red zone's a big spot that this comes into play. We saw earlier coverage down the field. Andrew Luck went in for the touchdown. His mobility, a huge factor. We'll see if it comes into play.
Second and 10. 4-man rush. Luck is going to run here. Tucks it away. Takes a hit inside the 5. And Andrew Luck is close to a 1st down. Now, does the ball come out here? There's a scrum for the ball. It came out. Now the question was he down? I think it was Jordan Poyer who hit him and tried to strip him. Let's see.
At the end here, Jim Leonard's going to come and hit him right there. That's when the ball comes out. Andrew Luck has a hold of it.
Let's see what the knee is. Oh, it's close.
I don't know if it's... Remember, you need a clear recovery as well.
He got it back. Yeah. There you go. So he got it back, even though Poyer was right there. And now, looks like he's a little shy of a 1st down. We'll see. And so timeout. It'll be a 3rd down in less than a yard. Man, what a finish here. And for all the good that Cleveland has done defensively today, now it's going to take another stand.
Yeah, and there's what makes Andrew, I alluded to it right before the play, his mobility. It's that other dimension. It's what Aaron Rodgers, all these guys, they can beat you in the pocket, but when all else fails, they can also run. And it is tough to defend. Remember, Dwayne Allen back. He's a big red zone target for Andrew Luck. 7 touchdowns on the season.
3rd down and less than 1. Colts down by 5. Minute 8 to go.
There's Dwayne Allen.
Luck. Hands off Herring. I think he got enough, but let's see. It's close. Marking is going to be ultra important as time ticking down. Where's the spot?
They mark it short.
Wow.
Wakeman says it's short.
Now, it's close. Even on that replay, it's close as time is ticking.
Chuck Pagano calls the timeout, I think, to give. Remember, the replay booth has to ask for the replay on the mark, the line to gain, and Chuck Pagano calls a timeout to stop the clock, and I think also give the replay official time to see if they want to review it.
He needed less than a yard. It's kind of hard to see from there. They had to get like just outside the 2. Let's see here. What do you think, John?
Nothing definitive to be sure, and it's got to be definitive to overturn it.
I don't think you can overturn it from what we've seen. You know, I thought initially on the surge he got it, but looking at those replays, I think they made the right call. And so it'll come down to a 4th and inches as they look at this in the booth, but I think this is going to stand. We'll take a break. 44 seconds to play. Browns by 5, trying to hang on in Cleveland. Mike Pereira in LA. What do you think of this, Mike?
I'll tell you, I think it's a 1st down. The problem is there enough conclusively to prove it without a direct down-the-line shot? You know, New York has been pretty convincing. They're pretty consistent in staying with the calls.
Well, I thought...
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. Brings up 4th down.
There you go. So it is a 4th and inches for the game. 44 seconds to go. The Steelers won. The Ravens today won. Browns trying to keep pace. Can they hold on?
And here, 4th and inches. I think you've got to go with the quarterback sneak. You still have a timeout in your pocket. I would quarterback sneak, then call the timeout if you do indeed get that 1st down. Andrew Luck, I think you've got to put the ball in his hands right
54,
now.
of course, is eligible.
54 is Andrew Jackson, a linebacker, lines up as a fullback. They're going to run it. Herron in trouble. Bounces, slides, spins, and he should have a 1st down. What a job by Herron, who was bottled up initially.
Incredible. They're not using that timeout. They're letting it tick.
Well, someone stopped the clock. It's at 36 seconds. I didn't see a timeout signal, but the clock is not moving.
Why is the clock stopped? I'm wondering the same thing you are.
The clock stopped, but no one called timeout. What's happening? Wow, what is happening here? Still no signal for anybody. There it is. I didn't see anybody call a timeout. Did you?
No.
So the Browns do call a timeout, and now you got a 1st and goal. You need a touchdown.
And I think Cleveland's thought process to give themselves some time, if Indy does indeed, I don't know if I like that, because it seemed like the Colts were scrambling. They didn't. They do have a timeout. They were not using it, and I think they kind of bailed them out there.
Indy has only got 1 timeout, and so now you give him time to really think about this play. Speaking of timeouts, that was a heck of a timeout by Chuck Pagano to let the booth look at that play, even though it didn't pan out. Maybe reset a little bit.
Smart. He had 2 in his pocket. You can't take them home. He used it, and I thought it was a wise one.
Here we go. 1st and goal for the game. 36 seconds to go.
And they're going to spread them out. Remember, Andrew's Luck ability to run. We'll see if it comes into play once again.
Back to throw, pumps, looking, end zone. He's got it. T.Y. Hilton, Colts lead.
Joe Hayden was marvelous in the first half, just dominated that matchup. But you see, he's not ready at the snap. Reggie Wayne runs the traffic. They all run into each other. T.Y. Hilton gets separation. T.Y. Hilton's been magnificent in this second half.
T.Y. Hilton has 10 catches, 150 yards, 9 for 141, and 2 touchdowns in the second half.
That's what great competitors do, as you see him with T.Y. My second favorite celebration he has. I kind of like that baby rock he did 2 weeks ago. Congratulations to the Hilton family, but what a big play.
And now the Colts will go for 2. Try to make it a field goal game. Looking incomplete. Keep in mind here, Colts went for 2 earlier and missed. If they just kick the 2 extra points, it's a field goal game. So now, they don't have a lot of time, but a field goal would win it for Cleveland. And Brian Hoyer, who got the nod, John, this week to stay as a starting quarterback, who has not been good today, he's got a chance to make everyone understand why he kept the job.
And the one thing you like if you're a Browns fan, if you're on that Browns sideline, he's been here before. It was 44 seconds at Atlanta 2 weeks ago. He had been not very good throughout the whole game, but 4 of 5 on the last drive, brought it down into field goal range. They kicked the field goal and beat Atlanta. So Brian Hoyer has been here before. It's huge that they get good field position on this kick return here. We'll see if McAfee can put it through the end zone.
Any thought in the world of putting Manziel in here?
I don't think so, because of what I just said. This seems to be an area where Hoyer has shined in the past, and just as recently as 2 weeks ago. And Manziel's cold.
It's really a must-have game for Cleveland because, again, Ravens and Steelers both won. And they need to keep pace in the division. Well, there's not a lot of time left. 32 seconds ago. Browns have 2 timeouts. And the Colts by 1. By the way, not too shabby on an 11-play, 90-yard drive from Andrew Luck and the Colts.
Kevin, not to hang this at all on Hoyer, but remember those 2 missed bombs that are touchdowns. If they hit them, you can't miss opportunities against an explosive offense like the Colts. They did, and they're paying for it.
Benjamin taking it out, in trouble, and look at this. He's taken down at the 11. Zerlon Tipton made the tackle. The Browns have an awful long way to go with a kicker that is not good from long distance.
And that was a critical kick return and kickoff coverage, because the field position, when you only have 28 seconds, absolutely critical. Remember, the Browns used one of those timeouts in the last drive on that first down. So you only have 2 left if you're the Cleveland Browns.
They've got 61 yards in the second half, John. They need something big to happen. They need it now. Four-man rush. Hoyer steps up. Gonna let it fly. Deep looking for Gordon. He can't make the play. Toller was on him, but I thought Gordon was open. And it's incomplete.
I'm going to tell you, Josh Gordon, you got to catch that, you know, and I think when you've been out for 10 games, he's still rusty. I mean, that's a catch we've become accustomed. Brian Hoyer gives him an opportunity right there. If you're Josh Gordon, you want to win football games, you got to catch it. Gordon down, but you see his speed. He's an incredible specimen, incredible wide receiver. Just outruns Toller. Hoyer gives him an opportunity.
Cleveland was injured on the play. By rule, that injury inside of 1 minute requires a charged team timeout.
That play just killed him. So they lose a play that gets them close to field goal range, and now they're down to 1 timeout.
It's a killer. And, you know, when you're suspended, you hurt your team in so many ways. You're gone for 10 games, then you come back, you're out of sync with your quarterback, and you don't quite have that juice left in your legs that Josh Gordon we've all come to know. You can't argue with his talent. He didn't have it right there to go get it. A ball I think he should have caught.
"19 seconds to go. Just 1 timeout. Over the middle. pass intercepted by Adams. That would have ended it. And now a penalty at the line of scrimmage. So let's see what this is.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 90. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down, Cleveland.
Well, that'll help.
Not smart by Corey Redding. I don't even know what he did, but not smart at all. You can't do that. He thought it was an interception by Mike Adams, and he goes to make the block. That's not smart. They protect the quarterback so much. He's a veteran. He's played at a high level for a long time, 12 years in this league. Can't do it. You just gave them another chance.
Reality is, for the Browns to have a shot, you need at least 35 yards. Got one timeout. Three-man rush. Hoyer going to throw it deep down the middle, and it's intercepted by Gordy, and that will do it. The Indianapolis Colts showing some big-time grit on the road. And a 90-yard game-winning drive. Luck to Hilton, and the defense seals the deal.
Well, I tell you what, that's why these Colts are going to be a tough out for anyone in these playoffs moving forward, as you see Gordy pick the ball, because Cleveland did about as good a job defensively as you can do on this offense. But Kevin, they just keep coming at you. And they got a trigger man in Andrew Luck who's special. He can shake off bad things that happen early in the game, like 2 picks, and continue when you need it most on the biggest drive to come through. T.Y. Hilton, an incredible player. They've got players all over this, and a defense that does just enough, and a head coach who's a special man, and they all know that, and they play really hard for him.
That is some win for the Indianapolis Colts. Meanwhile, it's a devastating loss for Cleveland. They lose pace in their division, a game where they had 2 defensive touchdowns and played great. But it was the Colts coming away with the win today, 25-24. Indy wins it. America's game of the week is coming up next. Seahawks, Eagles, 49ers, Raiders. Colts win in Cleveland here this afternoon.